A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Kroger Tender Ray Beef. No other beef so fresh can be so tender. Presents Hearts in Harmony transcribed. Kroger Tender Ray Beef. It's delicious. Yes, one word suits to a T the one beef that's always fresh, always tender. Delicious. That's the word for Kroger Tender Ray Beef, the best eating beef you've ever tasted. You know it's tender because by the original Kroger Tender Ray method, the top U.S. government grades of beef are made naturally tender without aging. You know it's always fresh because by the Kroger Tender Ray method, there's no need for wasteful aging, no time for loss of savory juice. Yes, Kroger Tender Ray beef is world famous because no other beef so fresh can be so tender. Yet it costs no more than ordinary beef. And listen, Kroger guarantees it's the best eating beef you've ever served or your money back. So visit your neighborhood Kroger store and buy your favorite cut. And don't forget, when it's Kroger Tender Ray beef, you know it's fresh, it's tender, it's delicious. Keep in mind, too, your Kroger store is where you get Kroger Tender Ray beef, the finest beef value in town. And now, Hearts in Harmony. All survivors of the mid-ocean crash of the Atlantic clipper Seagull, which was bringing Johnny Keith home from South Africa, have been taken off the ill-fated plane and are on their way to hospitals or on their way home. 6 died in the accident, and 4 were injured. But the list of casualties had not been released when Penny Gibbs last inquired. At the moment, though, Penny is on the phone at the community center, saying...
Thanks, Mother. Yes, thanks for calling. Bye. Angela.
Yes? Yes, Penny.
Angela, that was Mother. They've just released a casualty list. A friend of Mother's on the newspaper called and told her about it.
Oh, Penny, I can tell by your face it's bad news, isn't it?
No, it might be good. Johnny's name wasn't on the list of killed or injured.
Oh, he wasn't. Oh, how wonderful. Penny, you ought to be so happy and relieved.
I would be, but it's still too soon, Angela.
Too soon? I don't understand.
I mean, the list of survivors isn't complete yet. Mother's friend cautioned that the casualty list is far from official. There was so much confusion in the rescue.
Oh, I see. Well, then there's still a possibility that Johnny's among the injured.
No, it might be worse than that. They flew the injured in from the scene of the crash. They arrived in New York last night, and their names are definitely known.
Oh, Penny, you mustn't think that Johnny was...
I'm beginning to wonder, Angela. The ship that picked up the survivors landed in New York early this morning. I know that Johnny had called or wired the minute he could. Oh, Angela, these last few days have seemed like the longest in my life.
Well, I can understand why, too. Well, I wish the days were as long as they've seemed to you, at least this day. The center opens tomorrow, and we haven't even started with the decorations.
Well, we'll have them finished by noon tomorrow, Angela. That'll give us about 3 hours rest before the ceremony.
And how we'll need it.
Maybe we'll even be finished by night so we can rest all morning tomorrow. Hazel and Wendy and several of their friends are coming over after school to help out.
Oh, they are?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. Then we will be through tonight, Penny.
I hope so. Oh, I know it's selfish of me when I ought to be going over plans with you, but I can't get Johnny out of my mind.
Well, frankly, I can't either. I hardly know him. But, Penny, just worrying about him won't help matters. I remember during the war when I heard that Robert's battalion was going to action that last time. All I did was worry about him, but it didn't bring him back.
Nope, worry won't help, will it? Oh, golly, why were we even given the power to worry? We'd be so much happier, wouldn't we, if we could just say to ourselves, if it has to happen, let it. It's fate or something. There's nothing I can do about it.
Well, when you look at it honestly, Penny, just what is there that you can do about it? If Johnny's all right, he's all right. And if he's, well, if the worst has happened, it's over and done with, and there's nothing you could do about that either.
Waiting and wondering gives you a helpless kind of feeling, doesn't it? A helpless, useless feeling.
Oh, yes, it does. Look, maybe if we get to work and get busy for a couple of hours, the time will fly past and you'll hear from John.
All right. Anyway, there's a lot to be done, even if I don't feel like doing it.
Well, let's start with the game room, shall we? But it isn't fair to stop and play any of the games.
Oh, Angela, you're silly.
I had a nice game of ping pong with one of the workmen this morning. Well, it was nice because I won.
Oh, you're good, are you?
Well, I have an idea he let me win.
Oh, Angela, that's just like a man, isn't it? A man thinks he's so much better than a woman, he has to let her win every now and then.
Well, a lot of them feel that way. Personally, I don't like it.
Neither do I, not a bit. Come on, let's get to work.
Shall we start here in the game room?
Yeah, we might as well. We can hear the phone ringing here, can't we?
Oh, yes. Your mother's staying home, is she, in case there's a message from Johnny?
Yeah, there are several people home, in fact. Jay didn't go to the office today, and Freddie didn't have to go to the farm. Oh, Helen went out, though. Went out to the farm on the bus.
How are things getting along now that Helen Burroughs is back?
Oh, they seem to be going along smoothly enough.
I'd like to meet Helen Burroughs. She sounds a little crude, but interesting.
She is interesting. She's kind of pathetic, too. I feel kind of sorry for her.
Sorry for her? Why?
Because I think she means well. I think she wants to do the right thing. She seems to have a warm heart and a real appreciation of better, finer things, but she just hasn't had the chance to learn how to conduct herself or act or express her most simple feelings.
She sounds like the result of no education.
It's not just a lack of education, Angela. It's the life she's known, if you can call it a life.
Rough, tough, and empty, I imagine, huh?
Heartbreaking. I don't think Helen's ever known kindness or what it's like to have a friend.
No family? No home?
No, I don't think so. Family, I mean. Her mother died when she was a child. Her father, well, I don't know what happened to him. He had the same hard luck and hard life he handed on to his daughter. As for a home, well, she's like Freddie in that respect. She had a place to go, to eat and sleep, but it was a shelter more than a home.
Well, you seem to know a lot about her. Does she talk too much?
No. Most of what I know about Helen I got from Freddie. She and Freddie knew each other years ago in New York. They were kids in the same neighborhood.
Oh, street urchins together. I suppose they have a lot in common.
They did have. There was some kind of an affair between them. Oh, nothing serious, though.
Boy-girl romance. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I guess that was it. But now they're worlds apart. Yep, Freddie's far different from the boy he was when he first came to Rossville.
That was some time ago, I understand.
No, not too long, only about 2 years. Oh, Angela, he was impossible in those days. You wouldn't know he was the same person.
Really? That speaks well for Freddie. I was always under the impression that he was a farm boy.
Oh, no, I don't think Freddie had ever seen a farm until he went with me to visit Nora's father last spring.
Honestly? How did he learn farming so thoroughly? I talked to him the other day, and though he didn't say so, I got the impression he grew up on a farm.
He learns quickly. He's really an intelligent person, Angela. You know, he couldn't even speak properly when I first knew him, but in 6 months' time, Nora had him talking as if he'd never said an ain't in his life.
I have a lot of respect for a person who can improve himself so quickly.
Yeah, I have a great deal of admiration for Freddie. Of course, he still has his faults.
Oh, heavens, don't we all?
Yeah. But Freddie's fault is not thinking, even though he's certainly capable of it. And when Freddie stops thinking, there's trouble, because Freddie doesn't make little mistakes. He makes big ones.
And what makes it worse, I suppose, is that Freddie never really means to do anything wrong.
Yeah, you get it exactly. That's what makes Freddie such a problem sometimes, Angela. You can't scold him too much for his mistakes, because he didn't mean to make them willfully. He made them without meaning to do anything wrong.
Nora, where are you?
In here, Freddie, washing out a few things.
Oh. Hey, let me do that for you, will you?
No, thanks. This is part of my job. I can't very well help you with yours.
Well, I'm not doing anything but taking it easy today, Nora.
Well, you have a rest coming to you. You worked almost every day for months.
Every day, just about.
Uh-huh.
I can take it, though. Oh, see, you got that shirt of mine in there, huh?
Yes, I have.
Will the lipstick come off the collar, or does Helen use the kind that stays on forever, Nora?
No, I got it on all right.
Nora, I feel like a heel about that. Nora? I don't know why you didn't get sore.
Now, what good would that have done, Freddie? It wouldn't have helped matters any.
But you're plenty mad about it inside, aren't you?
No, Freddie. Just a little hurt. I didn't...
Look, Crickets, there's something I want to tell you about last night when I was out with Helen.
No, you don't have to tell me anything.
But there's something I want you to know. Helen wanted to come right home after we ate. Going up to the hilltop to watch the moon coming up was my idea, not hers.
Well, that's perfectly all right.
No, it isn't. And the reason I got lipstick on my shirt collar, well, that was my idea, too, not Helen's. She told me not to, but I did it anyway.
She told you not to get lipstick on your collar?
No, Nora, look, don't make a joke out of this. You know what I mean. I'm trying to tell you, Nora, that everything that happened last night, coming home late, reason for the lipstick, everything was all my fault, not hers.
I think it's nice of you to say so, Freddie.
It's true, Nora.
I'm glad it is. I wouldn't like to think that Helen was at fault. After all, I've done everything I can to be nice to her.
I know you have. That's why I want you to know that she isn't double-crossing you, Nora. She isn't making passes at me behind your back. But now look, maybe we ought to take this as a warning to both of us.
What do you mean, Freddie, a warning?
Well, I mean, let's get rid of her. We tell her to beat it before there's trouble.
But she's not causing it.
She is the cause of it.
Is she? I don't think so, Freddie.
Well, let's, in a nice way, sort of hint that maybe she better move on.
Where? What'll she do? Where'll she go? She has no home, no friends, no money.
Well, we can give her a little money.
No, Freddie. Don't you realize what you're suggesting? You want to penalize and punish Helen for something that you've done wrong.
But, Nora, you don't understand.
That's exactly what it is, Freddie. And it's wrong and unfair.
But
Helen came here in good faith thinking that we wanted her. And we're not going to turn against her because you're silly about things sometimes.
Yeah. Guess I am at that. Sorry.
Don't be sorry, Freddie. I love you in spite of the silly things you do. One thing you don't do, though, is to hurt people. So don't start hurting people by punishing Helen for your own wrongdoing.
Okay. Okay, she stays. But, Nora.
Yes?
If I come in with Helen's lipstick on my shirt again, you just let me have it, will you? And let me have it good, because I think it's just what I'll deserve.
So Freddie is still afraid of trouble because Helen Burroughs is in Rossville. Is Nora's kindness toward Helen going to bring nothing but heartache to all concerned? And what about Johnny Keith? Is he on his way home to Rossville? Or is he one of those unfortunates who lost his life in the plane crash? Be sure to listen to the next dramatic episode of Hearts in Harmony. Kroger Tender Ray Beef. It's delicious. Why, of course, Kroger Tender Ray Beef is delicious. It's the best eating beef you ever tasted, for it's the one beef that's always fresh, always tender. No other beef so fresh can be so tender as Kroger Tender Ray Beef. Yet it costs no more than ordinary beef. And listen, not only does Kroger offer you the best eating beef you ever tasted, Kroger also offers you more meat for your money. You see, Kroger has a special way of cutting beef that gives you more meat, less waste. Before Kroger cut beef is weighed and priced, Kroger removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. So to get the most, to get the best, get Kroger Tender Ray Beef. Ladies, plan now to visit your Kroger store. That's the only place you can buy Kroger Tender Ray, the one beef that's always fresh, always tender, always delicious. And remember, at your Kroger store you get more meat for your money, because Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste. Visit your neighborhood Kroger store soon and get the finest beef value in town, Kroger Tender Ray Beef. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same station, for another thrilling transcribed chapter of Heart in Harmony.
Dragnet. Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to auto theft detail. The recovery rate of stolen automobiles in your city has dropped far below normal. Evidence points to an organized gang of car thieves. Your job? Break it up.
It was Tuesday, June 14th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of auto theft detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Nelson. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 11:27 a.m. when we got to 2564 Dewey Avenue. Apartment 3G.
Want to try it again?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, hi, Joe, Frank.
Hi, Whitey. Hi.
Come on in.
Thanks.
Come on out in the kitchen. I'm washing out some socks. You don't care if I finish up, do you?
No, go ahead.
I got up this morning. I figured I'd better get it done. Haven't got a clean pair to my name.
Mm-hmm.
Drag a chair and sit down.
Thank you.
What'd you want to see me about?
A couple questions.
I'm not in the fire, am I?
Not with us.
Couldn't remember anything. You never know.
No.
What is it?
You still working at that garage?
Night shift. Check in at 4. This got something to do with my job?
Might have, yeah.
Look, fellas, you know the history. I'm not going to try and hand you a lot of slush, but I'm clean. Half a dozen guys will tell you that. I haven't got off the line since the last time I was tagged.
Well, you're in no trouble, Whitey. We figured maybe you could give us a hand.
Here's the switch. Me giving you some help. Usually works the other way. What are you looking for?
A lot of cars going someplace, Whitey. We're trying to find out where and who's driving them.
Thought maybe you might have heard a rumble.
There's always something going around.
You got anything?
Won't do me any good if it goes outside.
We won't open the door.
There's supposed to be 3 of them.
What do you know about them?
2 men and a woman. 2 fellas are supposed to be pretty heavy.
Any names?
No, they're planted pretty close. Even the rumble's not solid.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of days ago, I talked to a guy down at the garage. He was telling me about the operation, said it was big.
You know the people?
Enough to be in the same bar. Told me he tried to get a piece of the action, but they're not cutting any of it.
Can we talk to this guy?
I can't stop you, but I can't give you a hand either.
What do you mean?
I can't tell you where to find him.
Does he come around the garage much?
No, he comes in once in a while, talks, nothing regular.
What's he do for a living?
Drives. Stock car races.
Oh, I see. So you got a name?
Call him Tops. I don't know the right.
You know what he's talking about?
I think so. He likes to yak, but he sounded straight on this.
Did he give you any details on the operation?
I didn't ask a lot. I figure the less I know about deals like this, the less I can get in trouble.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Huh?
Where that sock is worn. Argyle, good ones. Cost me $5. Look at that hole in the heel, right in the middle of the 2 covers. How do you mend a sock like that?
What do you mean?
Well, how do you sew it up? Use one color and it louses up the Argyle part. Use the color of the Argyle and it'll go into the foot part. Sock people ought to figure some way around it.
Yeah.
Might as well throw them away.
Any word on what they're doing with the cars?
I didn't hear it. They turn it up?
No, not where we can find them.
Smart.
Are they local people, Wayne?
I don't know. I don't think so. I can't tell you why. I just don't think they're from L.A.
Mm-hmm.
They scoring pretty good?
Yeah, they are. Last 2 weeks, we figured they've taken a half a dozen cars.
Well, how do you lay it on them?
Well, the way they're working, the M.O. points to the same gang.
What's the pattern?
Cars are taken in the early morning hours from in front of the owner's house.
Jumper wire?
Yeah, all 8 models. They won't touch anything that isn't fully equipped.
Any special make?
No. As long as the car's a radio and a heater, white sidewalls, they want it.
They're not turning up, huh?
No.
Maybe they're getting them out of the country.
No, that doesn't figure. We've had the border checked. San Diego's working on it. 2 of the jobs, we had the broadcast out within a half hour after the car was taken. We couldn't turn anything. Just seemed to disappear.
You must have a big parking lot.
Yeah. You said the 2 men were heavy.
That's right.
How'd you come up with that?
Well, the guy who told me the story, you know, Tops?
Yeah.
When he laid the rumble out, he said he talked with one of the fellas at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Told the guy he'd like a piece of the action. About that time, the roof fell in.
What do you mean?
Well, the guy got real rough. Said there wasn't going to be any split. The action was going to stay in the same corner.
Mm-hmm.
Showed Tops a gun. Said if anything about the operation got out, he'd use it. The way Tops put it, he wasn't kidding.
Did you get any kind of a description of the man?
No.
This Tops fella tell you where the bar was?
Huh.
Well, okay, Whitey. If you hear from him again, will you let us know?
Sure. Call you at the office?
That's right.
Wish I could have given you more. I'll nose around, see if I can pick up anything.
We appreciate that. Don't go out on a limb, though.
You don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to line myself up for any trouble I don't need.
Well, we'll check you later then, huh?
Yeah. Hope I'll have something for you in the next couple of days.
Well, if you do, it'll put you way ahead.
Hmm?
We've been on it 2 weeks.
Yeah?
We haven't got a place to start. On Saturday, May 27th, the first theft had been reported. The victim said he'd parked his car in front of his house and returned an hour later to find it gone. An immediate local and APB had been gotten out, but the vehicle wasn't found. 3 days later, on May 30th, there was another theft. Same M.O. In spite of all our precautions, the thefts continued. To date, 7 automobiles had been taken, and none of them had been recovered. All possible sources of information had been checked out without result. Outlets for stolen cars had been kept under 24-hour surveillance without netting any new information. The stats office had made runs on each theft and on the general M.O. When the list they returned to us was checked, we were no closer to the thieves. Pressure from the victims and their insurance companies began to build, but there apparently wasn't anything we could do to stop the operation. Frank and I went back to the office and ran the name and description of the man known as Tops through the moniker file. There was no record of such a person. 2 more days passed. Another car was stolen. People in the immediate vicinity were questioned, but none of them had seen the thief. Saturday, June 18th, 11:40 a.m.
Okay. Auto theft, Smith. Yeah? Oh, yeah. Can you hold him? Right. Be right there. Yeah. It's Coach. That was Whitey calling from the garage.
What's he got?
That fella Tops.
Yeah.
He just walked in.
Frank and I left the city hall and drove over to the garage where our informant worked. He pointed out an elderly man in the rear of the place. We identified ourselves and asked him to step into the office.
What do you want to see me about?
Just a couple of questions.
Well, I ain't done nothing. No reason for you to roust me around.
You're not being rousted.
Well, it sure looks like it from here.
You want to sit down?
I'd rather stand up. It's all the same to you.
All right, suit yourself. You want a cigarette?
Yeah.
Frank?
Yeah, thanks. I got a light.
Frank. What's your real name, Tops?
Henry Grayson.
What do you do for a living?
I can get a car, I race.
Stock car?
Yeah.
Where?
Around different tracks.
You live here in L.A.?
Most of the time, come back when I'm not working.
You got a job now?
I'll figure to go back east next week. Think I can line something up. Hey, look, you maybe got a lot of time to kill. I haven't. Why don't you tell me what this is all about so I can get out of here?
You ever been arrested?
Huh?
You ever been in jail?
Yeah.
What charge?
Well, they didn't make it stick.
Well, what were you arrested for?
Grand theft.
Auto or money?
Auto.
Do any time?
I told you, they didn't make it stick.
Where'd this happen?
Idaho.
That's your only arrest, huh?
A couple of times for a bag.
They hold you?
No, give me a floater.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you guys are after something. What is it?
You know anything about a gang of car thieves that have been working here in town?
What?
Stolen cars.
Oh, why should I have anything on it?
We heard you did.
From where?
We heard it.
Is it true? Lousy Whitey. He told you, didn't he?
It's not important where we got the information. We're trying to find out if it's true.
Then you'll have to look someplace else. I got nothing for you.
Where'd you get the nickname Tops?
Huh?
It's a funny name. How'd you get it?
When I was a kid, I had real blonde hair, almost white. Other kids call me Cotton Top, shortened it down.
Mm-hmm. You like driving for a living?
It's all right. Better than working.
You do pretty good at it?
Hmm?
Is there any money in driving?
Well, it depends. Sometimes a good month and a couple of bad ones. Depends.
How do you do?
I'm not starving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you want to know about the stolen cars?
What can you tell us?
Not much.
We'll take what you got.
I got to talking with a guy one night. Subject come up. We kicked it around. Turned out he had a deal going for him.
Friend of yours?
Never saw him before.
All right, go ahead.
Well, that's it. He had this deal working. I don't know anymore.
Why don't you do yourself a favor?
What?
If you're not mixed up in this thing, why are you holding out?
I'm not. I'm giving you what I know. Maybe it isn't the guy's life story, but it's all I got.
All right, from the beginning. Tell us, will you?
What?
Everything this fella said.
You got nothing to hold me on. As far as I'm concerned, it's okay if you do pull me in. A couple of days on the city, give me rent and food bills.
All right, let's go.
Look, if I had any information, I'd give it to you. No reason for me to hold out.
That's right.
I never saw the guy before. I haven't laid eyes on him since.
Then what do you stand in front of him for?
What?
Makes you look like the patsy for the piece. Anybody takes a beef, it's going to be you.
For what? Sitting in a bar listening to some drunk?
It's more than that, and you know it.
I can't tell you.
Why? These guys too heavy for you, are they? Is that why you won't go along with us? You scared?
If you got to tie it down, that's the reason.
They won't get near you.
You can guarantee it?
We can.
Okay, I'll go. What do you want to know?
The whole story now.
Well, there's much to tell. I was in this bar one night. 2 fellas come in. They were both kind of gassed.
Mm-hmm.
Sat down next to me and started to talk.
To you?
No, but they were right next to me. I could hear what they were saying.
All right, go on.
Well, they were talking about this deal, how it was all set up. First off, I didn't know what it was all about. Then I heard one of them mention something about cars.
Yeah.
Well, it's like saying something about a new kind of camera around a photographer. As soon as I heard the word cars, I started to listen. Good.
Mm-hmm.
They were having a beef about something. One of them wanted to start unloading right away. The other guy said they should wait for a while, dump them all at once.
Yeah.
Well, they stood there and talked like that for a while, then one of them noticed me listening. Go ahead. He leaned over and said something to the other guy, and the next thing I knew, I was surrounded. One of them on each side, leaning on me.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want any trouble. I could see those two guys had a pocket full of it, so I went along with them.
Well, what happened?
Well, they asked me if I liked what I heard.
Yeah.
I told them I didn't hear anything. Said I had very bad ears.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't believe it, said they wanted to talk me outside the bar.
Yeah.
Well, I figured if they got me out there, I'd end up with something broken, so I didn't go. Tried to push me around, but the bartender come over, and they moved away.
What happened then?
Came back. Told me if I said anything to anybody but what they were saying, they'd get me. One of them had a gun. He kind of pulled his coat back. I could see it in his belt.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't kidding. Word that I talked to you gets back to him, I'm as good as dead.
Well, don't worry about it.
Did you try and cut yourself in on the deal?
No.
We heard you did.
Well, it's not true. I told Whitey that, but it never happened.
Well, why'd you tell him it did?
Well, I don't know. Trying to be a big man, I guess.
Yeah.
These two fellows hang around the bar?
Huh?
Have you seen the two men around the bar before?
No, it's the first time.
Any of the other people in the place seem to know him?
Mm-mm.
They leave the place before you did?
Yeah, finished up their drinks and walked out.
They have a car?
If they did, I didn't see it. I stayed where I was. Figured maybe they were waiting for me. Didn't leave the place until just before 2.
You think you'd know him again if you saw him?
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Well, we'd like you to come downtown and look through some pictures.
Well, I don't like to be a finger.
Well, you haven't got much choice, fella.
I suppose not. All right, let's go. Now, don't forget, you guys said you'd take care of me.
We will.
Those fellas find out I'm on your side, they'll try to kill me. Nothing's going to stop them.
Yeah, we think there is.
What?
Us. We took Henry Grayson back to the city hall and had him check the mug books. He was unable to identify the suspects. We ran his name through the record section and found that he had no arrests in the state of California. At his own request, he was returned to his home. Local broadcasts and APBs were put out carrying the description of the 2 male suspects. A week passed without result. Monday, June 27th. I got it. Auto theft Friday. Yes, sir. That's right. When was that? No, we can't take one over the phone. Oh, well, I'm sorry, too. That's right. You live in Hollywood? I see. Well, now, if you'll go down to the police station on Wilcox Avenue. That's right. In Hollywood. They'll take it for you. 1358 between Sunset and Santa Monica. That's right. You betcha. Bye.
Car theft?
Bicycle. Fellow says his kid left it in front of the house, came back and it was gone.
That's something we can do for you?
I'd like to talk to somebody about a stolen car.
Well, sit down. We'll take the information.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, sir. What can we do for you?
You're a policeman?
That's right. It's Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do? I'm Joel Pennant.
All right.
All right, sir. What do you want to see us about?
I think I bought a stolen car.
Why do you think it's stolen?
Well, just the way it was handled. The whole thing's got something funny about it.
Where's the car now?
I got it parked outside in the other street over there.
Mm-hmm. You have the license number?
Yeah, I have. You want it?
Yes, sir. We can check it for you.
I got it written down here. All the information someplace. Pink slip, too. Oh, yeah, here it is.
Very fine. Thank you.
I'll check it, Joe.
Okay, thanks.
I sure hate to put you all this trouble.
That's all right.
Feels silly if it turns out okay.
Well, why do you think the car's stolen?
Well, I own this little place up near Lancaster. It's kind of a bar and a couple of cabins for tourists.
Mm-hmm.
We're out of town a ways. We don't do a lot of business, enough to make a pretty good living, but it's all hard work.
Yeah.
Day before yesterday, that was Saturday,
Uh-huh.
this guy come into the place, had something to eat. We got to talk. You know, nothing important.
Yeah.
He told me he's on his way back east to find a job. Talked about how he's having a lot of trouble, lost his job and all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had this new car parked right outside, said he just bought it. Asked me if I knew anybody who'd buy it.
You mean he wanted to sell the car?
Yeah, I said he just got it and he needed the money to get wherever he was going. Told me he paid cash for it and he wanted to get some money out of it.
Yeah.
Said he didn't want to take a loss, but he didn't have the price of gas for it.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to sell it.
All right, go ahead.
I asked him how much he wanted, quoted a figure $200 under wholesale. It seemed like a good deal, so I bought it.
Yeah.
Then other guys come in and want to sell things. I learned the hard way, so I asked him if he could prove he really owned the car, that he didn't steal it.
Yeah.
I didn't say it like that, you understand. If the deal was honest, I didn't want to scare him off.
Yeah.
Then he showed me the pink slip and told me where he bought the car. It's a place called Brompton Auto Service in Hollywood.
Did you contact them?
Yeah, I put a call right through.
What'd they say?
Well, I went through a big thrash about it. I talked to a couple of secretaries before I got to the sales manager. He checked the records. He said the car had been purchased from them. He gave me the man's name and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about the deal then to make me think there was anything wrong. Pink slip, the car people.
Yeah.
I bought it. Gave the man a check. We drove into town, and I dropped him off at the bus terminal. He said he'd cash the check on Monday. That's today.
Yeah.
Happened I had to come into town this morning, checked at the bank, and they told me that the check had cleared. That it was cashed first thing they opened the doors. I got worried about it and decided I'd better talk to you.
Yeah. How about it?
Well, stolen, all right.
I had a feeling.
Anything on it?
No, I checked the report.
Yeah.
It's the bunch we're after.
While the victim, Joel Pennant, looked through the mug books, Frank and I went over to the bank and picked up the check the suspect had cashed. The name on the pink slip had been run through R&I, but there was no record on it. The check was handed over to Larry Sloan in handwriting. The pink slip was sent to the crime lab, where it was found to be a forgery. We checked the phone book for a listing on the Brompton Auto Service, but we found none. The victim had made a note of the phone number, and from it we were able to obtain the address where the telephone was installed. It was a large office building on 7th Street. Frank and I went over to see the superintendent.
Yeah, this is where they were at 9:26.
When did they move out?
Oh, sometime over the weekend. I'm not sure of the day. I'm off on Saturday and Sunday.
I see.
We'll hardly ever come down to the building on my day off.
Yes, sir.
How long were they in the office?
Oh, a couple of weeks. Said they wanted the place for a month. They paid for it in advance. They told me if things worked out, they'd take a lease.
Yes.
Guess things didn't work out.
Did they leave any forwarding address?
No, they didn't.
What can you tell us about them?
Not much. I only talked to them a couple of times. Seemed nice enough.
Did they tell you what kind of business they were in?
No, said they were trying to get a new product started. Told me most of their work would be over the phone.
Did they pay for the office by check or cash, do you know?
Cash. Said they didn't have their checks printed up yet.
They use a name of any kind?
I don't think I understand you.
Did they call each other by name?
Yeah, they did when they were looking over the office.
Do you remember them?
Let me think a minute. Well, it comes to me, one of them was called Tom. The other one was named Ralph.
No last name?
No, I didn't hear them.
What about the woman?
They called her Lerner. Remember that when they introduced her? Nicky Lerner.
Uh-huh. Has the office been cleaned since they left?
No, it hasn't.
All right, sir. We'd like to have some men from our office go over the place.
Sure. Glad to help any way I can.
Fine, thank you. Can you come downtown and look at some pictures for us?
The criminals?
Well, of some possible suspects.
See if I can pick them out, huh?
That's right.
You better will. Wait here, I'll get my coat. Go right with you.
All right, fine.
Well, second thought, you better wait in the lobby. We can go right out the door. It'll be faster.
That'll be fine.
Well, let's go. Yeah, I can't hardly wait to get home and tell my wife what's happened.
Uh-huh.
She's all the time after me because I never have nothing interesting to tell her at night.
Yes, sir.
It'll be different this time. Give her a story that'll really make her mouth hang open. Sure gonna be a doozer.
Yeah.
You guys could do me a favor, though.
What's that?
Could you drive me home after I look at the pictures?
We'll see that you get there, yes, sir.
I'd like it to be in a black and white car, if you can swing it.
All right.
Make the story more exciting. You know, hard-hitting.
Yeah.
Something else if I come home in a black and white police car.
What's that?
My wife will believe me.
We took the superintendent down to the city hall, but he failed to identify the suspects. The crime lab crew went over the office they had used, but they were unable to find any useful information. Another week passed. During that time, we had reports that 4 of the stolen cars had been sold. The circumstances in each case were the same. In each instance, we checked out the address the suspects had used as a front without result. Tuesday, July 5th, Frank and I walked into the squad room.
Well, it's not the same, Joe. Not the same at all. It's all changed.
It has.
Sure. Don't make any difference how you try. It just doesn't come off.
What are you talking about?
The 4th, Joe. The 4th.
The 4th, huh?
Yeah. Remember how when we were kids they had firecrackers and them torpedo things you threw against buildings, stuff like that?
Yeah.
No more. All they got now is sparklers, and them fountain things.
That's all.
Yeah. Well, they're nice. They look pretty, but it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting up on the morning of the 4th. You see who the first kid in the block was to get a can in the air. Real contest, like.
What?
Get a can in the air. You know, put a firecracker under a can, light it off. Real contest in our block, so you could be the first one in the morning of the 4th. Didn't you ever do that?
Yeah.
Well, we sure did. Never forget it. No, it's not the same now.
Yeah, but it's a lot safer now, isn't it? I got it. Auto theft Friday. Yeah. Yeah, sure might be. It's worth checking anyway. Right, we'll be right over. It's Mott over in forgery.
Yeah?
Just picked up a printer, been cashing checks.
Uh-huh.
Checked his plant, found something we might be able to use.
What?
65 pink slips. We went over to room 29 and met with Sergeant Hal Mott. He told us that he and his partner had picked up a suspect on suspicion of forgery. When they searched the man's home, they found a printing plant where the suspect had been making up phony checks. They'd also found master plates for automobile pink slips and a quantity of the slips themselves. Under questioning, the suspect admitted the forgeries but denied any knowledge of the automobile registrations. Frank and I took him to the interrogation room.
Your true name is Harry Larwell, is that right?
Yeah. You want to tell us about those pink slips?
I don't know anything about them.
You printed them, didn't you?
I guess so.
Well, and don't you know?
I printed them.
What were you going to do with them?
I did it for kicks, nothing more.
For practice?
Yeah.
Do you think a story like that's going to stand up in court?
Look, I copped out to the forgery rap. Isn't that enough for you guys?
We want to know about those pinks.
I already told you.
How many counts did they get on you?
I don't know, 10 or 12.
Well, then you know you're not going to do that stand on your head. You'll stand 1 to 14 on each count.
A lot of time if they run consecutively.
Now, come on. Why'd you print the slips?
What happens to me if I tell you?
What do you mean by that?
We'll make it any easier on me?
We don't decide that.
Well, you see, the judge knows, huh?
We'll put it down like that, yeah. Now, tell us about it, will you?
I made them up for Tom and Ralph.
Who are they?
A couple of guys I know. They come to me with this deal, said if I'd make them 100 slips, they'd give me $1,000. I needed the money, so I did the job.
Yeah.
Well, after I made them, Ralph said they could only use 45 of them. Then we had a beef. He gave me 500, and I gave him the pinks.
You know where you can pick up your friends?
Yeah. Apartment out in Hollywood. The girl there, too. Who do you mean? Understand her name's Nikki. Oh, yeah. Ralph's wife. Yeah, I guess she should be around.
When'd you see him last?
Yesterday. Ralph called me in the morning. Told me they was interested in the rest of the slips. Wanted to know if we could make a deal.
What'd you tell him?
Yeah, we could. I'm supposed to meet him this afternoon.
Where?
Drugstore in Sunset. He told me 3 of them were going to leave town.
All right.
You going to pick them up?
That's right.
Guess they had a good thing going for them. Sure, we're raking in the dough.
Yeah.
Ralph told me about it. Said they were coining money. Kind of hate to see it broken up.
You do?
Yeah. Good deal like that. Good ones are hard to come by these days. Takes a lot of time to set one up.
Mm-hmm.
Break this one up, they'll have to sit down and figure another way to make a buck. Kind of hurts to think about it.
It does.
Yeah, good deal like that shot. It really hurts me.
Think what it's going to do to them.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On November 10th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Ralph Norwood Prescott, Thomas Dean Bolton, and Nicky Lerner Prescott were tried and convicted of grand theft auto, 5 counts, and received punishment as prescribed by law. Grand theft auto is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 1 to 10 years in the state penitentiary.
Ladies and gentlemen, careless driving is kid stuff. Most automobile accidents happen when we forget to act our age and drive carefully. Letting off steam, defying authority, showing off, risks a driver's life as well as the lives of other people. In your car, act your age. The life you save may be your own.
Dragnet is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
My name's Jeff Regan. I'm the Lion's Eye, his private eye. gumshoe, peeper, Seamus, whatever you want to call it. I work for Anthony J. Lyon, International Detective Bureau. He's a guy who likes to make money. But when he makes money, I get into trouble.
Here's the kind of adventure you've been waiting to hear. Hard-boiled action and mystery as told by Jeff Regan, Investigator. So stand by for trouble. Stand by for suspense. Stand by for adventure. In tonight's story, The Lonesome Lady. And now, here's Jack Webb as Jeff Regan.
Well, this is the way it started. Everything was routine. Melody was at her typewriter working on the usual sheet of paper, backed by the usual 4 carbons, routine. The smell of the Lion's 50-cent cigar hung in the room, routine. And the air conditioning was out of order, all routine. I looked over Melody's shoulder and read the memo. Attention, International Detective Bureau, Anthony J. Lyon, from the American Insurance Company Claims Division.
Here you are. Keep the original for yourself and give the others to Mr. Lyon. I guess you're going to be on this.
On what? You beautiful thing, you.
Jeff, don't. Jeff, don't do that. Somebody might phone you. Mr. Lyon will tell you all about it.
What's the matter? New boyfriend, huh?
Not Jeff. Mr. Lyon's waiting for you.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Regan, ever hear of a guy named John R. Renzo?
Nope.
A doctor named Maurice Wade?
Nope.
A French dame named Marie Rochelle Portier?
Nope. Should I?
Maybe. I don't know yet. It's all routine stuff on that American Insurance Company contract. They want us to do a little work for them. Their claim man came in about an hour ago, all excited about Renzo. He kicked off early this morning.
I can't very well meet him.
There's a time and a place for wisecracks, and this isn't it.
It figures.
If Renzo kicks off, and the American Insurance Company's going to have to kick in with $35,000 to his beneficiary. And that's Marie Rochelle Portier. No relation. A girlfriend, I guess.
It's almost a bank buster for AIC. So you want me to see her?
No. It'd be ticklish if it turns out to be legitimate. Now, you better look at the other angles before you see her. If AIC has to pay off to that dame, we might just as well say goodbye to their business. We can't stand much treatment like that.
Well, you mean you want me to find a way for him to get out of it?
I didn't say that. If it's legitimate, they'll pay.
That's nice.
What I want you to find out is how a guy carrying $35,000 worth of life insurance winds up croaked in a hotel on Main Street with 2 dimes and 3 pennies sitting on the dresser.
It could happen.
Sure, it could happen. But you find out why it could happen. Renzo's worth 23 cents alive and $35,000 dead. And the county's going to have to plant him. The insurance company doesn't like it, and I don't like it.
How'd he die?
Well, the coroner says it was a heart job.
Insurance company?
Insurance office says Renzo applied for the policy 3 weeks ago. It was approved 10 days ago, and he kicks out today. Everything's fine. On paper.
So what am I supposed to do?
Find out what isn't fine about what that physical Renzo passed. Now, you can start with the insurance doctor, name him Maurice Wade. And get on him first. And call me if you run into any trouble.
The place I was looking for turned out to be a brand new 3-story building on Wilshire Boulevard. In the hall, I could still smell wet plaster and cement. There was one name on the neon-lighted directory, Dr. Maurice Wade, internal medicine, diagnosis, and the number's 310. The sign on the self-service elevator said, do not use, so I climbed the 3 flights of marble stairs. The first door at the top was 310. Enter. I entered. A blonde girl in a white uniform sitting at a small desk smiled up at me through sharp white teeth, showed me 1 well-shaped leg and 2 well-manicured hands, all routine stuff.
How do you do? Have you an appointment?
No, I don't. I was hoping I could see Dr. Wade without an appointment.
Well, that's almost impossible. He's so busy these days. I'm Miss Porter, his nurse. Perhaps I can help you.
Well, my name's Regan, but I'm afraid I'll have to see him.
Oh?
Oh, if you don't mind, I'll just stick around and wait for him.
Oh, he isn't in just now, and I was just about to go to lunch, Mr. Regan.
Well, that's fine. We'll go together.
Dr. Wade will be in at 2 o'clock. You can come back then.
I get it. 2 o'clock. It was right then that my day began to change. I stepped outside the office door and walked over to the brand-new stairway of that brand-new building. Now, get this. I stopped a minute because I thought I heard somebody opening the doctor's door. I turned around to take a look when I felt something brush my arm. The stairway suddenly turned upside down and began to walk up me. There was a lot of noise all around, and I was trying to yell for somebody to shut it off. It got louder and louder and louder. It was then I decided this wasn't routine.
Thanks for helping me tote him upstairs. He'll be all right now. I'll take care of it.
He'll be all right.
He'll be all right.
I was lying on a leather couch in a white room. A tall, thin man with a hooked nose seemed to be running things. He was waving an arm at a vague crowd of people near the door. Then somebody I couldn't see shoved a bottle under my nose.
Give him a whiff of that.
There you are.
I think you'll be all right now. Now then. Can you hear me, mister? No, don't try to move yet. Nothing broken, but you had quite a tumble for yourself, my friend. Quite a tumble. You might have been killed.
That's what I was thinking. Somebody shoved me.
What's that?
I was shoved.
That's crazy. I was on the second landing when you come falling down. Wasn't anyone around? Why'd anyone want to shove a man down a flight of stairs?
I don't know.
You're just plumb bruised and battered, mister. When you get to thinking about it, you just got dizzy from the heat or something. Now, didn't you?
Maybe.
I'll show you. Mary, hand me that like a good girl.
Here you are.
Here. Try a little of this.
Thanks.
That help?
Yeah.
Have another.
You want me to call you a taxi, Mr. Regan?
No, thanks. I got a car out in front.
Better you rest up a minute or two longer, friend. My name's Wade, Dr. Wade. This is my office.
Wade, you're the man I came to see.
Well, I don't believe I know you. You one of my patients?
Oh, this is Mr. Regan, Doctor. I explained that you took patients only on appointment.
Mm-hmm. Well, as long as you're here, Mr. Regan, what can I do for you?
Well, I'm not a patient. I've been retained by the American Insurance Company to investigate a claim concerning a former patient of yours, a man named Renzo.
A private investigator.
We're checking on a policy that was issued on him. You were the examining doctor.
You don't represent the district attorney's office or anything like that?
No, I don't. I'm with the International Detective Bureau.
You don't have a warrant that says I have to show you my files.
No, I don't. I thought that as long as you were employed by the insurance company and you conducted the examination, that you...
Well, give me back my bottle, mister. And then you can get on out of my office. Huh? And get out fast. If I'd have known you was something like that, I wouldn't have drugged you up here in the first place. Now get on out of here before I throw you out.
Well, you can see how things stood between Dr. Maurice Wade and me. I walked out of the place with as much dignity as I had left. I had other plans. There were other files to look at and other people in the city I could talk to. Detective Sergeant Salvatore Vendetti, morgue detail, was sitting in his office, chewing on a cold cigar, reading a traffic bureau memorandum on the new liability laws.
Well, if it isn't Jeffy the Regan. How are you, Jeff, boy? I haven't seen you in a long time. Pull up a chair. What happened?
I fell down a flight of stairs.
You ought to be more careful. Lots of people get killed doing things like that, so what can I do for you?
Sally, I want you to find out about a man named John R. Renzo for me. He died this morning, and your office is handling it.
Renzo. John Renzo. Johnny Renzo. Yeah, sure, we got him in the icebox now. I want to see him handle it myself.
No, thanks. I know he's dead. What else?
Well, never really a bad actor, never really a good one either. Mind you, all the boys in the beat knew him. Why?
All right, tell me some more.
Well, he made Lincoln Heights Jail about 9 months out of 12 on a vag rap, one thing or another, routine.
Vagrancy?
Just one of our lazier citizens, so he's dead now, so what's to it?
He was insured for $35,000.
Oh.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
So somebody's mighty glad to see little Johnny dead. Who gets it?
Her name's Marie Rochelle Portier. No relation.
Hot time in the old town tonight for her.
Mm-mm. Tomorrow night. The insurance company has 24 hours to investigate.
Ah, that's what you're doing. All right, Regan, what else?
Well, you got the coroner's report?
Oh, sure. Right here came in an hour ago. It was a heart job.
You sure?
Positive. No one deader than Johnny Renzo. Was bound to happen the way it did sooner or later.
Was he an old man?
45, 50, maybe. You can never tell on that kind, but all of us around here knew it.
Knew what?
That his sticker's been bad for years. Every time he made the heights, I'd give him a soft job. Couldn't take a chance.
Hey, look, Sally, are you telling me it was chronic heart condition?
I'm telling you, it was a chronic heart condition. Well?
Mm-hmm. I need that telephone.
Not this one. Only inside calls. Try the one across the street.
Hello.
This is me. I ran into some trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Well, you'll have to get me a warrant or something so I can get in that doctor's office.
What?
He wouldn't play ball. He threw me out. Now, the coroner's report shows that Renzo has a chronic heart condition.
Then he never should have passed a physical.
I thought that'd get through to you. But we'll have to find out what's in that doctor's office before we can do anything about it. Now, look, get a hold of one of those double-breasted lawyers and rig up a thing, will you?
Hey, Melanie, get my lawyer on the phone. It may take the rest of the day to get you in there legally, and we haven't got the time. So get busy.
I just told you I can't get in. If I can't get in, I can't get in. I hung up the phone, stepped out of the booth, and crawled into my car. I was sitting there fumbling with the keys, wondering how I was going to get to those files when somebody else figured it out for me. He was a big man in a brown sport coat.
Take it easy, Pilgrim. I just want to talk to you a minute.
Well, that's tough, Pilgrim, because I don't want to talk to you. I've had a busy day, and I
wouldn't try anything like that, Pilgrim. I just got here. I know lots of holes. Come on, this one's just basic. I can tear your arm right off if I have to. Wise up, Seamus. I'm here on business.
Yeah? What kind of business?
You just been in to see Wendetti?
Sure, I've been in to see him. He's a friend of mine. By the muscle act.
Just to make sure you don't start hollowing your brains out or something.
Let go.
Okay, so what'd he say? Ooh!
What'd he say about what?
You know what. Renzo.
Well, the county's going to bury him.
More, Seamus. Keep talking. Only makes sense.
He's dead. For good.
Oh! More.
He died of a heart attack this morning. Somebody gets $35,000 because of it.
And you've been seeing people. A doctor, Wendetti. Dane next on your list?
Maybe. Oh, is that what you want to know?
Yeah. You're a good boy, Regan. Now, here's what you want to know. You forget everything you know about anything. You don't say a word to nobody. No one. Understand? No one. Not even your own mother. Just forget it. Right. Now, remember, not a word to anybody. Or else.
I wonder if you'd do as good without a gun.
Oh!
I'll see you later, Pilgrim.
Sure you will. Sure you will. But in case we miss connections, and so as you won't forget me, here's something to remember me by. Ooh! So long, Pilgrim.
We'll return to Jeff Regan, Investigator, in just a moment. The Army Nurse Corps Reserve still has commissions available. If you're a graduate registered nurse between the ages of 21 and 45, you may be eligible for a commission in the Army Nurse Corps section of the Regular Officers Reserve. Those who meet the high standards and qualify to serve with this fine organization may elect active or inactive status. Nurses requesting inactive status will continue with civilian nursing, but stand ready to serve in time of emergency. In addition, they have the opportunity to take advantage of special training courses. Nurses who request active status enjoy the same pay and privileges as all other officers. Graduate work is provided at the Army's most modern teaching centers, and the nurses obtain educational experiences that benefit them in both civilian and military nursing. Now, if you believe you qualify for a commission in the Army Nurse Corps Reserve, apply to the Adjutant General, Washington 25, D.C. That's the Adjutant General, Washington 25, D.C. And now, back to the story of the Lonesome Lady and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
This wasn't routine either. It was brass knuckles, a big man in a brown sport coat in the front seat of my car. I guess I fell onto the horn into my steering wheel. I couldn't seem to sit up straight and get away from the noise.
Hey, what's the trouble, pal? Hey, don't you like peace and quiet? Hey, come on, sit up. Yeah. What happened to you?
I don't know exactly. I don't know.
Gee, your face is cut up a little bit. You have an accident or a smash-up?
Yeah, something like that.
You want me to call a cop?
Oh, no. I'll handle this myself.
Yeah, but don't you think you ought to go home and get some rest? Maybe you ought to find yourself a sawbone or something.
Huh?
Maybe you ought to find yourself a doctor to kind of fix you up.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's a good boy. You take care of yourself, John.
Oh, it's you again.
Says doctor on the door, doesn't it? The office is still open, isn't it?
Yes, but I thought Dr. Wade told you that he didn't want you here.
I heard him, but this is different. If he doesn't see me now, I'll phone the state medical board and the lawyer and anybody else who's handy and make him a first-class Simon Legree for refusing me emergency treatment. Now, cut him out.
Oh, you're hurt, Mr. Regan. Oh, please sit down. Sit down right here.
Where's your doctor, lady?
Oh, he isn't in here. He's already gone for the day. Let me see. What happened?
You tell me, lady. I'm just a peaceful citizen looking for a doctor.
Sit still. That's a nasty bruise on your forehead.
Yeah, I got some better ones where a man tried to cave in all my ribs.
Hold still. Lift up your face to the light. That's better.
Ooh.
Tender?
Mm-hmm.
First the stairs, now this. You've had quite a day, Mr. Regan. Maybe you ought to quit. Hold that right there. While I touch up this cut on your chin. There. Who'd you say you worked for?
International Detective Bureau.
I'd resign if I were you. They're working you too hard.
What's happened lately isn't exactly routine.
What happened lately?
Well, I found out that the man who died this morning had a chronic heart condition, and he should have never been insured. Your doctor's in this up to his ears for passing him.
Go on.
A big man in a brown sport coat doesn't want anybody to look into anything.
He's the one who did this.
That's right.
That should hold you.
Thanks.
Oh, wait a minute. Where you live?
Huh?
Your address. I'm coming over to your place tonight.
You are?
If what you say is true, my doctor's going to get 5 to 15 in San Quentin for doing a fix on an insurance examination, and I might be dragged into it. And I wouldn't want that to happen.
So?
So I'm digging up that file and bringing it over to your place, and we'll see what's what.
Why not look at it right now?
Isn't here. We just moved to this place 3 days ago, and half the stuff is still in the old office.
All right. I'll buy that. Try 1720 North Taft, 308.
In about 2 hours.
Why so long?
You need some rest. Besides, your shirt's bloody. Well, what was that name?
John R. Renzo, R-E-N-Z-O.
All right. You can expect me. Feel better now?
Yeah, much better. Oh. You know, you freeze me, lady. Your boss throws me out, you fix me up, you help me.
Maybe I wouldn't have fallen down those stairs if you hadn't sent me out to eat alone.
Call me Mary if you like.
I thought it'd be something like that. Mine's Jeff. I've had a hard day, Mary.
I know. But maybe it'll be a better day from now on, Jeff. You know, I had a feeling I was going to like you.
It was just about then that I remembered the beneficiary. She was my last call. I bucked beach traffic out Wilshire and pulled up in front of the Beverly Hills address Lyon had given me. A row of brass mailboxes on the outside of a 4-unit court told me that Marie Rochelle Portier lived there. The man in overalls watering the lawn blinked at me, frowned at the cut on my chin, pointed to his own, and shook his head. I nodded back, wondering what Marie Rochelle Portier, or whoever she might be, whatever her racket might be, looked like. I found out.
Yeah?
It was the big man without his brown sport coat. This time it was swimming trunks, and he looked as big as a super chief. I threw my whole arm into his face. He staggered backwards into the room, trying to get his balance. I let him have another one in the stomach. He was out of condition. One more, and his chin was cut. He went down, taking a lamp, a card table, and a glass of warm lemonade with him. Oh, yeah. It's real good to see you again, Pilgrim.
All right, Jim. It's all right. You're the champ.
Come on, get up, get up. I might have known I was going to find you here. Where's your girlfriend?
No, just a minute.
I said, where is she?
She ain't around. Ain't no one around but me. Honest.
Okay, you give it to me.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I've met citizens like you before. Oh, now, come on, make it straight.
Oh, it's all right. Oh, you busted my head. I'll make it straight. Marie's my girlfriend. She calls me today, tells me what you look like. Tells me where you'll be. Tells me what to do. I do it. She knows who an insurance stick will go to.
All right, go on.
Catch you at the morgue. You're nosy. She says to rough you up a little bit, make you forget what you're doing for a while. I find you like she says and do what she says. And, nothing personal in it.
What about the doctor? He split with you and her?
Ain't no doctor in it. It's just me and Marie.
How'd she fix it for Renzo to get insured?
I don't know. She's got connections. She gets around.
Right, smart guy. Come on, spill.
Honest. That's it, Shamus. That's all there is to it. We worked it a couple of times before. I don't know how she fixes it, but she does. I do all the heavy work, and we get along fine. Now and then somebody gets excited, and I have to cool them off for a time. But well, that's it. Straight. Honest. Hey, what are you doing?
Shut up.
Well, now, don't call the cops. Give me a break, will you?
Will you shut up?
Lance.
It's me.
Regan, where have you been?
I'm calling from the address of Marie Rochelle Portier.
I told you not.
Look, there's a big ape here who roughed me up today, trying to put me out of commission.
I don't care about that. We have only 12 hours.
Come on out and pick him up and get a statement for a warrant.
Warrant for who?
For Marie Rochelle Portier. This monkey can give you enough to have her picked up. She's the one we want.
You sure about that? I found out that the doctor who wouldn't let you into his office is in a lot of trouble. Got a wife suing him for divorce, and he might have been
it's
trying...
the Portier dame we want. As soon as you get a warrant on her, it'll make that insurance policy invalid.
I still don't trust that doc. It's early yet. Why don't you hop over?
You bringing the cops out here? Look, Shamus, I got a little dough, and it'd come to more than a ton a day in expenses you're getting if you...
Now you... Stay here, Pilgrim. I'm tired. I'm going home.
I've been waiting for you. Forget about me?
No.
The janitor let me in. I told him you were my brother.
That's nice.
You didn't come straight home and get some rest.
No, I had a couple of things to do first.
Oh, sit down. I fixed your drink.
Good.
Hot day and all.
Thanks. Now, tell me about your doctor, huh? Some things I know already. His wife's suing him for divorce, trying to get every penny he's got. He doesn't like me.
That's it.
Or maybe he just doesn't like any private detective or anybody else who might be working for his wife, huh?
Maybe.
And if I can spot a man who's being taken to the cleaners, he's one. He's pretty touchy these days about all the trouble she's probably caused him.
What's this got to do with us? The stars are coming out.
Just straightening out. Well, if that's the way things are with him, then my job's finished.
Good. Now we can relax. You've been working much too hard. Jeff, put your arms around me. Feels good. Good to have arms around you in a big city like this. Such a big city. So many people.
Mm-hmm.
You're nice, Jeff. Sometimes it's so lonely. And sometimes it's like this.
Sure, Marie.
Darling.
Marie Port here, Mary Porter, it's all the same to me. No, don't reach for it, lady. I took it out of your purse. I know, I tricked you. I've been wanting to trick somebody ever since you shoved me down that flight of stairs this morning, ever since you shagged your big boyfriend on me.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
No, not today, you won't. I'm not insured. All right, take it easy.
Oh, let me go, Jeff. Let me go, please.
You were so lonely in the big city that you just sat down and passed time making out phony medical reports and counting the insurance checks that you collected on bad bets.
Oh, please, Jeff. Oh, just let me go, please.
So you have me thinking that a doctor's phony when the only thing that's bothering him is a wife and a divorce suit.
Oh, Jeff, listen to me.
And when I start getting close, you try to scare me off. And when I get really close, you figure to drop over and put on a good act.
Oh, Jeff, listen to me. They'll send me to prison. They'll make me grow old and ugly there. Oh, Jeff, please let me go. I'll do anything. You can let me go. You can. You will. Oh, please,
Ryan,
Jeff.
It's me again.
Let me
You
go.
got that warrant?
Yeah, he's spilled. Where are we going to find that Dave? He's probably skipped.
Oh, no, she's at my place.
What?
I'll do anything,
Look,
anything.
get somebody over quick, will you?
Please.
Get him over while she's still here. Well, I told it all to the Lion, and he told it all to the American Insurance Company. They renewed our contract. She's being arraigned next Monday. What happens after that is up to the jury. Melody had a question.
Jeff, what do you think they'll do to her?
Well, she'll get about 10 years, I guess.
If Mr. Lyon hadn't had that contract with AIC, would you have turned her in?
Sure, I'd have turned her in. It's my job, isn't it? Well, it's a big city. A lot of lonesome people down there.
They allowed her one call when they took her to jail. She called here asking for you. Jeff, why did she do that?
I don't know, Melody. I don't know.
The easiest way to save for the future is to buy United States savings bonds. Your nearest post office, bank, or savings and loan association can accommodate you. Or you can buy bonds on the payroll savings plan. Just ask your employer to start deducting for a bond a month. A bond a month is good security for the years to come. For money in the future, buy United States savings bonds now. You will be glad you did. Jack Webb is starred as Jeff Regan, with Wilms Herbert as Anthony J. Lyon. Eve McVeigh was heard as Mary Porter, and Ken Christie as the Big Man. It's CBS, same time next week, for hard-boiled action and mystery with Jeff Regan, Investigator, as he tells the story of the lady with the golden hair. Jeff Regan, Investigator is written by E. Jack Newman, produced and directed by Gordon T. Hughes, with original music by Del Castillo. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Dragnet.
story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to juvenile detail. You get a call from Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. A 2-year-old child has been brought in. Her condition is critical. There's evidence of foul play. Your job? Check it out.
It was Sunday, August 14th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of juvenile detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Powers. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from detention cells, and it was 7:28 p.m. when I got to the second floor of Georgia Street Juvenile. Squad room.
Hi, how'd it go?
Nothing. Those kids won't cop to a thing.
What about the weapons?
They only admit they had them, and that's all.
Nothing about what they were going to do with them?
No.
I don't know, Joe. Today, kids got a lot more than we ever had. TV, cars, a lot of things.
Yeah.
Still seems like they aren't happy unless they're figuring how to beat somebody's brains out.
Well, it doesn't go for all of them.
Well, enough to give us a headache.
Yeah.
And take those kids upstairs. If they spent the same time doing something constructive that they do making the zip guns and saps, they'd have something worthwhile, something worth remembering.
Well, maybe it'll work out the same way.
What do you mean?
They won't forget this. Juvenile Friday. Yeah, Doc. When'd she come in? Anybody with her? Give me that again, will you? Yeah, I got it. Okay. We'll check it. That's right. We'll get back to you later. Thanks, Doc. Bye. It was Dr. Sebastian.
Yeah?
Just brought a little girl into emergency. Had convulsions.
How's she doing?
Dead on arrival. Frank and I notified Homicide Division, then we left the office and drove out to the address I'd gotten on the phone. 1784 Malabar Street was a small wooden house set on the back of the lot. A dead oak tree in the front yard was overgrown with ivy. Several broken and rusted children's toys were half hidden in the weeds near the front porch. We rang the front doorbell.
Somebody ought to be home. The lights are on.
Let's try it again. Yeah, somebody's coming.
Yes,
Miss Manson?
that's right. What do you want?
Police officers would like to talk to you.
We have to go through it all again. Don't you think I feel bad enough?
We're sorry to bother you, ma'am, but there's some questions we have to ask you.
All right, come on in. You might as well sit down.
Thank you. Thanks. This is Frank Smith, and my name's Friday.
How do you do, Miss Manson?
Hello.
You're the child, Dad, is that right?
Yeah, her mother's my sister.
And where's her mother?
I don't know. I've been trying to get in touch with her. Left messages all over town, but I guess she ain't got any of them.
The child stay with you, does she?
Yeah. Been here since she was 6 months old. Feel like she was my own.
Mm-hmm.
I got 3 kids myself, all boys. Always wanted a girl. When Joan said I could have Melissa, it made me feel real good. Like a daughter of my own, real good.
Mm-hmm.
Knew it didn't make any difference to Joan. None at all. Wasn't anything that mattered much to her. I always thought Melissa was something that shouldn't have happened. In the way, that's what she said.
Yes, ma'am.
In the way.
Mm-hmm. What happened this evening?
What do you mean?
Well, you're the one who called the hospital, aren't you?
Yeah. As soon as I knew there was something wrong, called them.
Mm-hmm. What happened?
Well, this is Sunday.
Yes.
Every Sunday morning, Joan comes by and picks up Melissa, takes her for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Just like always, she was here this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
It's going to be a big day. She told the baby they were going up to Griffith Park to the zoo, see the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we all sat around and ate. My kids, and baby and Joan, and the kids went to get dressed.
Yeah.
After she was dressed, they left. Joan and Melissa going to the zoo on the ride. Real big day, real big.
Mm-hmm.
About 6 they came back.
That's this evening?
Yeah, 6 o'clock. The baby didn't look real good, kind of hot and flushed.
Yeah.
I asked Joan if she'd given her a lot of junk. She said no, nothing that had hurt her. That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Just came in the house and then she left. Said she had an appointment, that she couldn't be late. Just dumped the baby inside the house and walked out.
I see.
I gave her a bath. Thought it might make her feel better. She was running a little fever. Warm bath's supposed to bring down her temperature.
Okay.
Didn't do any good at all. I asked her if she was hungry, and she said she was, so I gave her some dinner. Had no more than taken one bite, and she had the first sip.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting right there at the table, and she had it. I didn't know what to do. Never had nothing happen like that before. I didn't know what to give her.
Did you call the doctor?
Yeah. We don't have a telephone, so I went down to the corner. There's a booth at the gas station.
Yeah.
Didn't want to leave the baby alone, but there wasn't any other way. Nothing else I could do.
All right, we'll help with it.
Doctor wasn't at home. I left word for him to come right over, and then I came back. Didn't no sooner walk into the house than she had another fit. Scared me to death. Poor little innocent. I could see she was in pain, terrible pain, and there wasn't anything I could do for her.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't wait anymore. I went back and called the emergency hospital, asked them to send an ambulance. Told them it was important and to send somebody right away. A couple of minutes after that, the men got here and took her away. Poor little thing.
Yes, ma'am.
She looked at me like asking me to stop the pain, begging me, almost tore my heart right out of my chest to see her so little. Almost killed me.
Yes.
She was dead when they got her there. Didn't even live long enough for them to try and save her, not even that long.
Yes, ma'am, we know.
Just a baby. 2 years old and she's dead. Just a tiny little baby. Oh, that hardly seems fair. A lot of people could die and it wouldn't make any difference, but not her. She was beautiful. Just beautiful, like my daughter, like my own.
You sure there isn't something we can get for you, Miss Nancy?
No, nothing. Not anything that'll help now. Nothing at all.
Ma'am, has there been any history of this type of attack in your family?
You mean fit?
Epilepsy? Anything of that nature?
No, never been anything like that.
Well, now, did the child tell you that she felt sick?
Mm-mm. We didn't have no idea there was something wrong until it was too late.
Did she complain of stomach cramps?
No, she didn't.
What'd you have for dinner?
Ground meat, potatoes, the green beans. Couldn't have been that made her sick. We all ate the same thing. The kids and me, none of us had any trouble.
Is your sister separated from her husband?
Yeah, they hadn't been together for over a year. Been that long anyway, I suppose. He's supposed to contribute support, but he doesn't, not a dime.
I see. Did she provide support for the little girl?
She was the baby's mother, but that's as far as it went. Came to town from Melissa and it landed in my lap. Remember when she had roseola? Joan didn't even come over and see her. Just didn't care. Mailed a little doll for the baby. Guess that was supposed to make up for her mother not being there.
Can you tell us where we can contact your sister?
Sure. Place over on Hewitt Street. Got an apartment there.
You have the address?
Yeah. Won't do much good to go over there, though.
Why's that?
She probably ain't home. Chances are she's out someplace running around having a good time.
I see.
Don't even know that baby's dead. Hasn't got the slightest idea.
Oh, we'll go and see her.
Hope you won't mind waiting for her to show up. You're going to have to. Probably wait a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
She don't care about the baby. Never did. Told me a couple of times. Just a rock around her neck. Talked about how hard it was for her to get a husband with a kid. All the time how the baby was making it hard for her.
Mm-hmm.
All she ever thought about herself. Didn't want anything to interfere with that. Just herself. She won't care about the baby. She won't care at all. Probably won't even talk to you.
I think she will.
Why should she? No reason for her to even see you.
Yes, there is.
What?
We're trying to find out why the child died.
Oh, she just got sick, that's all. There's anything more to it. Melissa just got sick.
You seem pretty sure about it.
Of course I am. Couldn't be anything else. You think there was anything else? You think there was something wrong?
We don't know yet.
Well, then talk to Joan. Ask her. Anything wrong with Melissa that happened today? She ought to be able to tell you. Talk to her.
Yes, ma'am. That's what we'll do.
Hope it does you some good. Wouldn't surprise me a bit if she knows what happened.
What's that?
She's probably got an idea. I wouldn't want her to know I told you this.
What do you mean?
If there's something wrong with the way Melissa died, if there is...
Yes, ma'am.
It wouldn't surprise me if Joan killed her.
Frank and I left the house and drove over to the apartment on Hewitt Street. The name on the mailbox read Joan Guyman. We rang the bell, but there was no answer. We talked to the landlady, Mrs. Enid Findon. She told us that the Guyman woman had left the place about 7:15 in the company of a man, and she hadn't returned. We asked her what she could tell us about Miss Guyman.
It's kind of hard to say right off. She's funny, you know how I mean?
No, ma'am.
Well, there's a lot of people who don't like her, lots of them. They think she's kind of wild, the way she runs around, partying up. You'll hear a lot of talk about her. Got to kind of make up your own mind about it.
Mm-hmm. You any idea where we can find her?
No, could be in half a dozen places. If she starts on a run, she's liable not to slow down for a couple of days.
You know the man she's with?
Sorry, I can't help you there. I've seen him before, but not many times. I don't think Joan goes out with him much.
Mm-hmm.
Something wrong?
No.
Something happened to Joan?
No, ma'am.
Must be some reason you're nosing around. Anything you want to tell me?
It might be a little better if we talk to Miss Guyman.
That's the way you want it. I ain't going to pry into something don't concern me.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever met Mrs. Guyman's little girl?
You mean Melissa?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure. Two of them been here several times. Sundays, you know, Joan has a little girl.
How they seem to get along.
What?
Miss Guyman and her daughter. How they get along.
Well, you said it yourself. Melissa's her daughter.
Yeah.
What have you heard?
Hmm?
Somebody's been talking about how Joan treats the kid.
Well, maybe you better tell her.
I don't want to get her in no trouble. You understand that?
Yeah.
Well, I'd be down here watching the television, maybe doing some ironing, and I'd hear Joan yell at the baby. Loud. She used words a kid shouldn't hear, not that young.
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, not that those kind of words are ever good for a youngster, but sure not for one only 2 years old.
Yeah.
Anyway, she'd yell for a while, then it'd be quiet. Then she hit the kid a couple times. Things calmed down.
Now, do you know if Mrs. Diamond ever hit her daughter?
Well, sure. I saw it with my own eyes. We had words about it. Well, Joan told me to mind my own business. Said to keep my nose where it belonged. Told me how Melissa was her kid, and if she thought a slap would do some good, she was going to give it.
Mm-hmm.
She did. Only a couple times they weren't slaps.
Mm-hmm.
Like this. With a closed fist. Did it right along here. Right above the ear. A couple times in the face. I saw the kid with a black eye myself, sure.
Does Mr. Guyman see his wife?
Not that I know. He said a couple times that he doesn't. I don't think she even knows where he is. Kind of sad, you know.
Yeah?
What happened? That's how all the trouble started. Mr. Guyman. Both of them used to live here when they got married. First off, they seemed pretty happy. Didn't have no idea there was anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Then when the baby was born, the trouble started. Wasn't long before the whole building knew about it. Of course, there was a couple of people who had an idea before.
What's that?
About her.
Yeah?
Oh, running around, down to the bars, drinking, talking with other men. Now, I'm not a prude. Never been anybody who could say that about me. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't believe in married women doing it. Not them.
That's what caused the trouble, then, huh?
You just put it down to that. Oh, my, they had some big arguments. Big ones. Hear them all over the building. All over the block, I guess, if he was listening.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't long after that he walked out on her. Left her flat for the baby.
I see.
Packed right up and moved out. Even took his photograph records, everything. Don't think she's seen him since.
Well, are they divorced, do you know?
I don't know about that. A couple times she's talked about getting one. I don't think she's ever gone through with it.
I see.
No, she's planning on it.
Okay.
She wants to get married again. Told me that 100 times, how she wants to find a man and settle down. Just about all she talks about. Guess the big problem is Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know she's had the chance. I know that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the men have even talked to me about it. About how they want to marry Joan. Build a home for her. All comes back to the same thing.
What's that?
The kid. None of the men want a ready-made family. They're all willing to have one of their own, but it ain't easy for a woman with a 2-year-old child. Not easy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I know she thought a couple times about leaving the kid with his sister. Some kind of problem there, too. See, they're always fighting about it.
Do you know what the arguments were about?
Sure. Joan's sister didn't think she was doing enough to support the kid, you know. Figured she ought to have more money.
Any of these quarrels ever get violent?
Yeah, I heard them upstairs, yelling and screaming at each other. Almost as bad as Joan and her husband. Sister saying that either she had to hand over more money or else take Melissa out of the house. Joan saying that she didn't care what happened to the kid, yelling all over the place. Terrible the way they carried on.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest about it, I don't think either one of them really wanted the little girl. Neither one of them.
Is that right?
Both been just as happy if she'd never been born. Poor little kid. Wonder they didn't try to put her in another home, you know. Find some people who wanted her. Would have given her a chance to grow up being loved.
That's right.
Least they could have done, given the little kid a chance. Oh, I don't know. Maybe someday Joan will wake up, realize what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she will.
Let's hope it's not too late. In the company of the manager, Frank and I checked Joan Guyman's room. There was no indication that she wasn't going to return. We asked Miss Bindon to notify us as soon as she heard from the Guyman woman. We returned to the office and checked with the crime lab. They'd finished going over the child's clothing, and they hadn't found anything out of order. We put in a call to the coroner's office, and we talked to Chief Deputy Coroner Vic Wallage. He told us that the autopsy would be held at 10 a.m. the following morning, and that we should have the results by 11. He went on to say that in his examination of Melissa Guyman, he'd found several bruises on her neck and back. However, he was unable to tell us if the blows might have been strong enough to cause her death. 12:16 a.m., we ran the names Joan Guyman and her sister through R&I. There was no record on the sister, but we found that the Guyman woman had been arrested several times in the last year on charges of 4127A, drunk. The rest of the night was spent in checking out the places she was known to have frequented. An attempt was made to find her husband without result. The next day, Frank and I met in the squad room early to put through a call to the coroner's office. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about the bruises? I see. How long's that going to take? Right. We'll keep in touch with you. Okay. Bye.
How about it?
They finished.
What's the cause of death?
We're still not sure.
What do you mean?
They think she might have been poisoned. The autopsy had failed to show the cause of death of Melissa Guyman. Further tests were to be conducted. In the meantime, the search for her mother continued. A check with the landlady showed the victim's mother hadn't returned to her home during the night. We contacted her sister, but she told us she hadn't heard from Joan Guyman. The afternoon papers carried a story on the little girl's death. Frank and I checked with Sergeant J. Allen again, but he hadn't come up with anything new. 3:20 p.m.
You want to go out and see the sister?
I don't think it's going to do much good. She said she'd call if she heard anything.
Yeah. I got it. You have an old spare? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have. Well, where are you? All right, stay right there. That's right. Huh? As soon as we can. Joan Guyman.
Where is she?
Bar down on East 5th.
She know about the little girl?
Yeah, wants to see us right away.
Well, it makes us even.
She's got more of a reason. Says she killed her daughter.
Frank and I left the city hall and drove over to the bar. When we walked into the place, it appeared to be deserted. The bartender told us there was a woman answering the description we gave him in one of the rear booths. Joan Guyman was in her late 20s, but she looked at least 40. She'd been drinking heavily, and she'd been crying.
Yeah? Somebody you're looking for?
You're Miss Guyman?
That's right. Who are you?
Police officers. Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Yeah. I knew you'd be here. No good. Why don't you sit right down and make yourself comfortable? Which one of you fellas I talked to?
He talked to me.
Yeah. Well, then you know why I asked you to come down here.
Yes, ma'am. You want to tell us about it?
No.
How's that?
You asked me if I wanted to talk about it. Well, I don't. I don't even want to think about it. I wish it never happened.
Is that right?
You probably think it's funny I'm not crying, don't you? Don't you? You think there's something wrong with me? My baby's dead and I'm not crying? Well, do you want to know why? You want to know?
Why don't you tell us, lady?
Because there ain't no tears left. Not a single one. I'm all cried out. That's why.
You better put that down. You've had enough of that.
I think I would have a lot more. A lot more.
You said you killed your little girl, is that right?
That's right.
Well, tell us about it, will you?
No reason not to. No reason for anything anymore.
All right, go ahead.
I killed her. I killed her. It's like I'd put a gun up to her head. I killed her. Is this the same?
Go ahead.
Oh, poor old kid. She didn't want much. Hardly anything. One of those dolls with the hair you can wave, that's all. The doll with curly hair and her mother. And she got the doll. I gave it to her yesterday when we came back from the zoo. Makes her think how happy she was. She was happy.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I wouldn't give her. No mother. Poor little kid. She didn't have no mother. Just me, that's all. It's me.
Yeah.
That's how I did it.
What's that?
Killed her. If I'd been her mother and kept her with me, it never would have happened. She'd be all right now. Neglect. That's what did it. Neglect. And I gave it to her. Never paid no attention to her. All the time, too busy with what I was doing. I didn't pay any attention to her. I didn't pay any attention at all.
All right, come on, lady.
Where are we going?
Downtown.
What for?
I think we'll be able to talk better there.
Oh, I don't want to go anyplace. I'm going to stay right here. My baby is dead. Poor little kid didn't have no mother. Why don't you just go away and leave me alone?
You know we can't do that.
Why not? There are a lot of something that says you gotta harm people. Is that what you're doing?
Frank.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. You leave me alone. You got no right to do this to me. Bartender! Come on back here and help. These lousy cops are giving me trouble. Help me.
Come on, lady. You're only making it harder on yourself.
Leave me alone. Get away from me.
Come on, don't cause any more trouble.
If you were a gentleman, you wouldn't do this to me.
If you were a lady, we wouldn't have to. We took the woman back to the city hall. After several cups of hot coffee, she straightened out enough to give us a story. She went over each step of the previous day, naming all the places she and her daughter had gone and all of the foods they'd eaten. There was no apparent cause for the child's death. In talking to her, we found that the child was wearing different clothing when she was brought to the hospital. Frank and I drove out to Mrs. Guyman's sister's home and picked up the dress and the coat the little girl had worn. It was turned over to the crime lab, 2:15 p.m. Funeral Friday. Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to check it. Right. Yeah, as soon as we know. Right. Ray Pinker over at the lab.
Yeah?
Just finished going over the little girl's dress.
Find anything?
A couple of stains.
Yeah?
Traces of poison. Along with the crew from the crime lab, Frank, Mrs. Guyman, and I went back to her apartment where a thorough search was started. From the analysis of the stains found on the child's dress, Sergeant J. Allen said the death might have been caused by minute quantities of poison in another fluid. While he and his crew went over the apartment, Frank and I talked to Mrs. Guyman.
Couldn't be anything here.
Was the child alone at all yesterday?
No, I don't think so. We went to the zoo and came back here. Gave her the doll, and we played with that for a while.
Mm-hmm. Did you leave the apartment at all?
Yeah. Went down to the corner to make a phone call. Only gone a couple of minutes.
Your daughter was here alone then?
Yes, but she couldn't have gotten into anything. I was only gone a little while. I was still playing with the doll when I got back.
Miss Guyman, our crime lab seems to think she might have been poisoned by some sort of polish.
Well, what do you mean?
Looks like a metal polish of some kind.
I don't have any of that in the house.
You sure?
Certainly. I don't know. My place. They have to tear everything up like this.
It'll all be straightened out.
I hope so. Seems like there's never going to be an end to it.
Joe?
Yeah, Jay.
See you, man?
Mm-hmm. What do you got?
I think this is it. I found out in the kitchen under the sink.
Metal polish.
Yeah.
Isn't one of the standard brands. Certainly isn't one of the off-brands either, is it?
I've never seen it before.
Wow.
The bottle's almost empty. Cap was off when we found it.
Any chance it might have spilled out?
No, it doesn't look like it. Not on the floor around the bottle. If you want to come out in the kitchen, we'll check it for prints. We got the kid out there.
Right. Can you tell for sure, Jay?
No, we can get an idea, though. There, Joe, it's coming through. You see there?
Yeah. What do you think?
After all the child's prints, to be sure. It looks like it, though. The fingers are pretty small. There you can see yourself. Pretty tiny.
I guess that does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks, Jay.
What'd they find? You know how it happened?
We think so, yeah.
How?
We found an empty bottle of metal polish in the kitchen. Looks like your daughter drank some of it.
She couldn't have. I was with her all the time. She couldn't have gotten to it.
You said you left her alone.
But not that long. She didn't have time. I was only gone a couple of minutes. That's all. Just a couple of minutes.
That was long enough.
It's not true. Just making it up, trying to make it all my fault.
No, ma'am.
Yes, you are. You're trying to make out I did kill her. You're saying it's my fault. Well, it isn't.
Well, then you tell us.
Huh?
Whose fault is it?
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On August 18th, an inquest was held in the coroner's office in and for the county of Los Angeles, state of California. After examining all the evidence, a coroner's jury decided that the death of Melissa June Guyman was due to accidental poisoning.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
The American Broadcasting Company presents Pat Novak for Hire. Sure, I'm Pat Novak. For hire. I got a couple of boats down on Pier 19 on the San Francisco waterfront. Sometimes I rent them out, but I found out it's easier to keep my budget healthy by risking my health in other ways. So I work around doing odd jobs. You can take that any way you like. But the best you can say for it is that it beats begging. At least you don't always limp. If your luck's in, you can keep a half lap ahead of the bill collectors if you don't let it go to your head. I did once. I helped a guy who owned 7 hotels convince a blonde in San Rafael that her memory wasn't that good after all. The payoff was too rich for my blood. I got the idea that with that kind of money, I could take over the gambling joints up around Lake Tahoe. It took them 3 days to show me I was wrong. I'd worked my way down from the gold-plated joints to a place called the Broken T, where they still recognized a dollar as currency. I was beginning to figure how long it'd take me to walk back to the bay when the help came along. He was a little guy with a pair of eyes I wouldn't trust with anything I wanted again. The kind of quiet, dark clothes that'd make it easy to get lost in an alley. He knew me.
Well, Novak, not doing so hard, are you?
I eat.
You want to make a quick buck?
There must be a reason. Tell me that first.
I'm hot. I shook the wheels down for a flock of dough.
You call that trouble?
Not yet. But I'd like to look ahead. How do I know these guys like it that I got all their money?
If it hurts you, give it back. They'll take it.
I got a better idea. I want to take it down to San Francisco.
Look, Crocker owns the Southern Pacific. If you got an urge to travel, talk to him. If you got a proposition, spread it out.
I'm driving down. It's a lonely road. I want you to go along as a bodyguard.
If these guys are out to hijack your roll, 2 of us won't stop them any more than 1. They come in bunches when they want to.
Do you want the job, or are you going to talk me out of it?
I'll ride down with you for $200.
You charge a lot for a ride.
You said it's risky, remember?
Okay, here's 50. You get the rest in San Francisco. I see you outside in 5 minutes. My name's Brown. I'll be waiting in my car.
Brown, huh?
Yeah, Brown. John Brown. Want to make something of it?
How can you? He was a quiet guy. We drove along for a couple of hours, and you could have repeated all he said on one deep breath. I kept watching the cars along the road, waiting for the muscle boys to show up, but nothing happened. Pretty soon I got the feeling that they weren't after him at all. I guess he'd seen too many movies. I finished off a pack of cigarettes as we got down out of the mountains and got him to stop at a roadside joint for reloads. He wouldn't leave the car, so I was all alone when a girl came up to me at the bar.
You going down to San Francisco?
Something like that.
You got room for me?
How far are you going?
That depends on who I'm with.
You might be handy at that. The car's without a heater. I don't have to own it.
So you'll keep one hand on the wheel.
So you better ask the guy who does. He's sitting out in the car.
Why don't he come in?
Don't build him up so fast. I got a car, too.
Where'd you get it? Steal it?
You selling medical insurance, maybe?
Why?
You're going to need it if you keep elbowing into my face.
Speaking of elbows, what do you mean trying to muscle into my dame?
Are you two together?
Yeah, why?
That's what I've been wondering. Why? So long, sucker.
What do you make of that?
I'd say you're out. You don't have to slide.
You're to blame for this.
Yeah. And tomorrow I'm going to make it rain.
I can start a storm right now.
Go right ahead. You got the wind.
Wait.
You cooled him nice, stranger. What started that?
Bad habits.
Yeah?
Uh-huh. Too many cigarettes. I guess I didn't have to hit the guy. When I was all geared up over the ride, I had to take it out on somebody. Outside, the air was cold and clear.
A river made soothing noises in the darkness. I figured it'd be an easy night from then on in. But Brown was having the fidgets.
Come on, Novak. Let's get going.
Where's the dame?
What dame?
One came out here. A hitchhiker. Wanted to ride to town.
I didn't see any dame. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, that's queer.
What's queer? Let's go, let's go.
Suddenly you're nervous. What's the matter?
When I need a doctor, Novak, I know where to find one.
Yeah? Can you find one whose shakes synchronize with yours? Otherwise, he's going to have a tough time with your pulse. From there on into town, John Brown didn't say a word. When we came across the Bay Bridge, he stopped in the terminal and made a phone call. Then we drove up to his place, a big corner apartment house up near the Civic Center. He told me to wait in the car while he went in to put away the money. I sat and smoked cigarettes and watched the dawn begin to light up the long, empty streets. I must have been there half an hour before anything happened. And then it all began to happen at once, starting with Hellman. A homicide detective with a grudge against the world that he takes out on me. I hope I didn't keep you waiting, Novak. What got you out of bed, Hellman? Can't be insomnia. That takes conscience. You'd be the sort to know about that. Mind if I look the car over? Why not? I didn't steal this one. I prefer roadster.
John Brown, huh? Now, there's a name. Where have I heard that before?
That's a foreign name. Polish, I think.
That's not where I heard it. It was broadcast in connection with a stolen car.
Try again. The keys, see?
So maybe he was careless and left his keys in his car.
Yeah, maybe I'm whimsical and changed my name to Brown. Go on, Hellman. You can't pin anything on me.
No. Give me the keys.
What for?
I'm looking in the trunk. We got a tip.
Not on this crate. We just got in from Tahoe. Nobody knows we're here.
Sure. And if you aren't here, I guess there's nothing in the trunk either.
I'll bite. What'd you find?
A body. A girl's body. I'm not intruding, am I?
Not on me. You better get Brown. He's in the apartment there.
Sure. But won't you be lonely?
Look, Brown hired me to ride down from Tahoe with him. He cleaned up at the tables and wanted protection for his role. It's his car and his girl. Let's get him.
All right, come on. Oh, Brown listed. Nervous? Upset? Maybe you need a rest.
Framed.
Sure, somebody else did it. Shame on them. Come on, Novak.
The girl was a pickup, a hitchhiker. Why should he kill her?
I got a better question for you. Where can I get a lawyer?
I saw a purse with the body. Let's look it over.
Don't tell me you didn't rob her, too.
The purse didn't turn up much. Some keys, a little mad money, makeup stuff. A letter to Alice Stone with an address out in the Potrero district. The letter was no good, just a guy trying to patch up a split. I had a hunch that Brown must have known Alice. That was the only way the killing made sense. I needed to get some dope on Brown. I needed to know about Alice. Hellman took Brown's address off the registration card, and I couldn't see where that had helped me any. No one had seen us together all the way down from Tahoe. Even if Brown were picked up, he could swear he'd never seen her before. With the car listed as stolen, he was a cinch to prove it. Yeah, I needed help bad. So I started looking for my old friend Jocko Madigan, an ex-doctor turned boozer who had more connections around town than the water department. I ran him down in a trap on Ellis Street trying to hold back the recession in liquor sales.
Hello, Patsy, my boy. Join me. This is the first one today.
Look, I'm in trouble, Jocko.
You're in trouble. Think how I feel.
Yeah, what's the matter? Sick?
No, just worried. I was reading in the paper here that the good ship Clyde Harris went down off the New England coast last night with 10,000 cases of scotch on board.
Yeah, there's some left. Listen, Jocko, I'm in a jam.
When did that become news?
I was up at Tahoe, and a guy hired me to drive him down here.
He didn't know you.
It turns out the car is stolen. There's a body in it. And the guy's disappeared.
Well, I don't blame him.
The body belonged to a girl named Alice Stone. At this address.
10,000 cases of scotch. Can you imagine that?
And the way I figure it, the girl must have known the killer. I'm not very sure that John Brown, who claims his car was stolen, is innocent either. It's mighty strange that he left the car keys lying around.
What do you want me to do?
Get on the grapevine. Find out if this John Brown is tied up in the rackets. The same for Alice Stone. Find out if they ran around with each other. Whatever you can about them.
All right, Patsy, but you'll have to wait. I've got to catch up on my drinking first.
Can't you lay off this stuff for a little while?
Are you telling me how to live my life again? You who consort with murderers, car thieves, and women of dubious ways? Push the bottle over here.
Look, Jocko, see if you can put the finger on a neat little guy with a pair of con man's eyes. Black hair, toy mustache, and dresses like Dapper Dan. About 150 pounds.
Imagine you trying to tell me how to live. You who've got more bad habits than a dope fiend's convention.
The guy goes for dark, expensive clothes. He doesn't talk much unless he has to.
When I drink, I get the hangover. All you have to do is breathe regularly, and trouble's all over town. If you had any social conscience, you'd go somewhere and hang yourself. I can't understand how I tolerate having you around.
Will you get a line on the guy for me?
From the way you described him, it ought to be a lay-down cinch. There's only about 10,000 men in town who'd fit that description. Will 100 or so of them be enough?
I want one. It's a long gamble. But try, will you, Jocko?
Imagine that, with the ocean full of ships hauling guano, bones, cattle, oil, lumber, pineapples, sugar, old newspapers, and gunny sacks, the one boat that has to sink...
Will you get on it?
Oh, there's no hurry. It's only you at stake. So long, lover.
I grabbed some breakfast, picked up a cab, and went out to the address of Alice Stone. It matched a wooden house that looked 2 years older in Utah that was trying to lie about it with a new plaster front and a fresh set of doorknobs. It looked like it had been built by an amateur who read the blueprints upside down. A dame answered the door. She was about tie-pin high to a 6-footer, and she had red hair. The heavy, wavy kind that made you think she must be healthy. And that wasn't hard to do anyway. The way she filled out her morning coat didn't leave much to worry about, except the seams. She could talk, too.
Neighborhood's improving.
You know Alice Stone?
Sure, she lives here. I might have known she'd see you first.
Who are you?
My name's Skip Harper, and Alice isn't home. What can you do with that?
How do you know I want to? Maybe I'm a salesman.
Oh, look, mister, you aren't fooling anybody. You look about as much like a salesman as I do a decoy duck. Now, what do you want with Alice? Or do you have to be particular?
I can't use her. She's dead.
A salesman. With 5 o'clock shadow at 10... Did you say dead?
Yeah. They found her in a car downtown this morning.
You're a cop.
You're wrong. Why should it worry you?
What do you mean?
Do you know who did it?
I don't know anything. I just don't like jams. Tell me how it happened.
We were coming down from Tahoe. She was in a roadside hamburger trap. She asked me for a ride, and I sent her out to talk to a guy who owns the car. The next time I saw her, she was tucked away in the trunk.
Why'd a guy kill her, just like that?
That's what I'm after. Maybe he just didn't like James. There's probably a better reason.
You think maybe he knew her?
Yeah. That's where you can earn a gold star. Did you know anybody by the name of John Brown?
Describe him.
He was playing the wheel at the Broken T out near Tahoe. Smooth little guy, about 2 sizes over a jockey. Waxed mustache, a pair of eyes you could use to freeze fish.
So, that one. I know him.
Give me an introduction.
His name's Brown, all right. I didn't know his first name before. He's a small-time hustler around town. Used to take Alice out now and then when he felt like tearing up a nightclub. Cops arrest him yet?
Hellman, a homicide dick, is knocking on his door about now. I don't expect him to be home.
No, he won't be. He has hideouts.
Name some of them.
I'm afraid to.
He can't hurt you. He's too busy playing cops and robbers.
You don't know Brown.
I gotta get to know him. Give.
I don't want to get mixed up in anything.
Neither do I, but I am. I need Brown.
Why don't you forget Brown?
I'd be bad manners.
What's wrong with bad manners? I know some that are fun.
Yeah, you would.
More fun than Brown will ever show you.
You'll keep. He won't.
Come here. Will this keep? Do you think?
You have a nice way of changing the subject. But still, where's Brown's hideout?
I won't tell you. He'll kill me.
Yeah, that's a gamble. I'm on the spot, and that's a fact. Talk to me.
Oh, I hate men.
Never mind your hobby. Give me Brown.
I hate you, you big, ugly, muscle-bound.
Brown.
You're hurting me.
Make me stop. Tell me where Brown is.
All right. Here's a hideout, a little shack out near the beach.
Narrow it down.
Let go, I'm telling you. And I hope it's the last thing you hear.
From Skip's place out to the beach wasn't much of a drive. I went up and over Twin Peaks, watching the city and the bay spread out beneath the road like a giant map. The sun was working for the Chamber of Commerce that day, and the whole region was... Every backyard was full of clothes blowing in the wind. As the highway neared the beach, it began to turn up bunches of kids on their way to cash in on the weather. John Brown's hideaway was one of those old pioneer shacks built out near the ocean in the old days by guys who wanted to get away from it all. It was painted a weather-beaten brown, tilted a little on one side, and it looked like something that had been washed ashore in a bad storm a long while ago. I knocked on the door, but all that brought me was echoes, so I made a door out of one of the side windows. The inside of the place looked like something out of a hobo jungle. None of the furniture matched. The best piece in sight would have made a junk man sneer. There was a broken-down setup for poker and a tired double bed, and after that you were practically on your own. The kitchen didn't turn up anything but a flock of ants and some empty bottles. I began to get the feeling Brown must have had 2 hideouts, or else he'd left town. It shows you how wrong you can be.
All right, Hustler. Reach.
You walk soft.
Practice makes perfect. Turn around slowly.
Mm-hmm.
How come you're working without a gun?
Who are you?
This is my place, so you tell me.
My name's Novak. I'm looking for a guy named Brown.
Well, you're all right so far. I'm Brown. Who tipped you off I'd be here?
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember. So let me guess. It was that punk Venanti.
Never heard of him.
Never mind the rube routine. You got Hustler written all over you. What did Venanti send you here for? Does you think I know too much?
If I was sent to rub you, do you think I'd come without a gun, start using your head?
I like the way it's working. Tell me more.
I can't tell you anything. You don't fit my blueprints.
Don't get smart with me, Hustler. Venanti sent you. Tell me what for.
If you're Brown, you don't need any new worries. You've got an armful already.
I'm feeling no pain.
The cops have your car down at the station.
What for?
They don't like them with dead bodies inside.
Steady now. Let's have that again.
A dame named Alice Stone was found stuffed in your trunk. You're hotter than 4 stoves. Laugh yourself out of that.
If you know so much, why aren't you yelling copper?
Don't worry. They're on their way. I'm trying to get the key to the killing.
If this turns out to be a frame...
Look, I saw the guy who did it. I'm the only one who did. That's better than your gun, so treat me nice.
If you saw the murder, you can help me out.
Sure. What do I get for it, a merit badge?
Things are coming too fast. I got to do some checking.
You better spill what you know, or else I'm liable to forget mine.
You got a nice lever there, Hustler, if you can back up your talk. If the dame's dead.
Look who's bargaining.
Before I tell you anything, I need to check around.
Just wait a while. The cops will tell you everything.
I like to find out things for myself.
You will. I got a good grapevine in the county jail.
Now do it the hard way.
You forget I have the lever on you now.
Yeah. Remind me to get scared about that. Try some aspirins for that.
I woke up twice before I decided to make it stay that way. The house was so quiet I could hear someone playing the piano several houses away. It was a nice, clean sound, neat and full of try. No wise guys in it figuring fancy double crosses. No dead bodies. No policemen who argued with their knuckles instead of their heads. Probably some girl who thought a blackjack was a card game. I lay there listening to the music for a while, and I got up and brushed off my clothes. Now, there were 3 places I could find Brown. He wouldn't dare go to his home. He wouldn't return to the hideout. That left Skip's place. On the way over, I stopped at a drugstore and phoned Jocko to find out if he'd turned up anything. If you left out the hiccups, it went like this.
Hello, you reprobate renegade from all that's good and holy.
Skip the overture. Did you check on those people I asked you about?
Sure, I found out about them. Old Dr. Madigan and his crystal ball. He knows all and he knows all and like that there.
Tighten it up and tell me some.
That girl Alice Stone, you remember?
How can I forget?
She lived with a dame in the Potrero named Skip Harper. Nice people. The landlord served eviction notices every day except legal holidays.
So they liked a good time, then what?
Then she owns a half interest in a gambling joint around Lake Tahoe. It's not much of a place. They say the roulette wheels have so many magnets hung around them, the nails began to come out of the walls. Her partner runs the joint, and she shills the suckers in from down here.
How'd you make it the wheels crooked?
I have my informants. I have a network of good drinking folk who get around and hear things all the time. You'd be surprised how careless a guy can get with talk when he's got his elbow in a barroom ashtray. Now, as I was saying...
If the wheels are fixed, how come Brown was able to shake the joint down for $50,000?
I don't know how he did it. Maybe he was wired, too. All I know is that they've got better control of the ball than Bob Feller ever had on his best day. It's easy to believe if you know Skip's partner.
Yeah? Introduce me.
Name's Venanti.
What's that again?
The partner's name's Venanti. He's wanted in 8 states and Cuba.
Venanti. I'll remember the name. What'd you get on Brown?
John Brown? Swell guy. Helped free the slaves. A friend of man. A tribute to the
I've
nation.
heard that song. Now let's talk about the local Brown.
Small-time hustler. Petty larceny stuff.
You didn't get any tie-ins with Venanti?
Oh, yeah. He was up at the gambling joint near Tahoe last night. Cleaned the place out. $50,000. That would buy a lot of schnapps.
Yeah, it's beginning to fit together.
No doubt your mighty intellect has found the key.
I can count up to 10 if I don't wear mittens.
Sometimes 13, I'll bet. Well, who did what to who?
Brown's got a partner working for him.
You don't say.
I'm going over and shake it out of Brown. He must know where the guy's hiding.
Well, don't go looking into too many auto trunks. Those things bite. So long, lover.
What Jocko told me began to give me some hope. The thing the picture needed was one more man, and a partner for Brown would round it out nicely. Yeah, Brown must have figured someone to try to hijack his role and hired a friend to bring it down to San Francisco. I didn't explain the killing. I didn't explain a lot of things. But it was a lead to the guy who could explain it. I needed Brown. So I gunned the car over the hills towards Skip Harper's place. I began to feel better. I was thinking how Hellman would look when I dumped the killer in his lap. There was a crowd along the street in front of Skip's place. Just as I drew up, Hellman came out on the porch. As I got out of the car, one of the neighbors pointed to me.
Novak, huh? They gave me a description, but I didn't think it was you. The guy they described sounded human.
Your jokes stink, Hellman. Try imitating birds or juggling.
The bird imitations are for you, Novak. You'll be singing to the DA any minute now. Come on in the house.
Ah, it's Brown. Where's the dame?
What did you do, kill her, too?
Come off it, Hellman. You can't pin this on me.
I don't have to. The neighbors did it for me.
Why should I kill my alibi?
Because he wasn't. What did you do with the dame, Novak?
Why don't you try thinking for a change?
I do my poor best. For instance, I think you killed the dame in the car and then tried to saw it off on Brown. Then you caught Brown here this morning and killed him.
What for? Or don't you care?
For $50,000, Brown won at the Broken Tee up at Lake Tahoe.
The neighbors saw me come here. I must have seen Brown come here, too, after I'd left.
Nobody saw Brown come. Why didn't you buy a witness, Novak? You can afford it.
The dame's gone?
We haven't looked under the rugs.
How'd you get the dope on Brown winning all that dough?
Wayphone Tahoe, bright boy. You've heard about the telephone?
Vaguely. Who'd you talk to?
The police. And then a guy named Venanti. He says he remembers you following Brown out. And that the dame was with you, too.
It's a lie.
Sure. But the $50,000 is still missing.
Brown wasn't with me. He was a little guy.
It's the climate. He grew since you two dropped him here this morning.
I need some pictures.
Well, you drop Brown. The dame's going to drive you home. You proposition her on the way to help knock off Brown. She turns you down.
Not those kind of pictures. Are there any photographs around the house?
Yeah, there's some in the bedroom. Why?
Come on, let's look. The way she looked, she'd like cameras.
Here's one on the beach. What's she wearing?
That's a bathing suit. Here's the one. Towel.
Well, look at this nightclub gown. How do they hold those things up?
Thumbtacks. So that's Venanti. Look at the two of them posing in front of their sucker trap.
So what?
He's the guy who did it.
Sure, over the phone.
Did you phone him or he phone you?
He phoned.
You want him?
What for? I got you.
He's here in the city, hiding out at Brown's place at the beach. Here's the address.
What kind of a windy is this, Novak?
Pick him up, will you? He said he was at Tahoe, and he is in the city. It smashes his alibi.
All right, but if you're trying any fancy work...
Are you going after him, or do we waltz some more?
How to hold you?
I'll be around. You know that.
What are you going to do?
I got some cleaning up to do. There was only one place for Venanti to be. I headed the car out Potrero and down Bayshore Highway to the airport. I was betting everything on a hunch. Sometimes that's the way you have to play it. Sometimes hunches pay off. The plane I got was built for hurry. Skip still had her overnight bag in her hand when I walked in on them at the Broken Tee. Venanti began to act nervous when he saw me. Yeah, but not Skip. I began to wonder if she'd ever known how it felt to be frightened. You'd never guess it from the way she talked.
Hello, Novak. Don't you ever shave?
I had a close one just now.
Doesn't show.
You don't know where to look.
What do you want, Novak?
I got it.
Don't be cryptic, baby. It doesn't become you.
You don't act nervous. Does you care about jail?
Nobody's going to jail, Novak, except you, maybe.
I'd be nervous if I had to explain all those dead bodies back at Frisco.
We don't know anything about dead bodies. We've been up here for hours.
Yeah? I had a hunch that'd be your alibi.
That's no alibi, Novak. It's a fact.
It won't gel, Venanti. You're cooked.
Look, Novak. Brown deserved to die. He killed Alice, and before that he fixed the wires on the wheel so he could break this place. He robbed us of $50,000. We had a right to get it back.
Is that what Venanti told you?
That's the way it happened, Novak. There's $10,000 in it for you, if you can remember it that way, too.
$10,000. Easy there, Vin.
That was a little double talk, baby. He was trying to bribe me to dummy up on you.
Dummy up? I know what happened.
When you get through dreaming, try this for a bedtime story. Venanti hired Brown to pick up the winnings while he ran the table. Then with Brown dead, Venanti was going to fly back here in his private plane for the same alibi he's using now. Only he'd own the broken teeth.
You're lying.
Shut up, Vin. Tell me more, Novak.
The plan began to sour up when Alice tried to thumb a ride. Alice knew him, so he killed her. He still needed to kill Brown, but he figured then he could hang the double killings on me. That'd make it even better.
You're on the needle, Novak.
The only trouble was that Brown wasn't home. Vin had to chase him. When he finally found him, Brown was at your place. I don't know what happened there, except that Venanti must have killed Brown before he had a chance to talk.
I was out. I'd gone to the store.
So when you come back, Brown's dead, and Venanti tells you he did it to recover the money.
Yeah. So you were going to double-cross me, baby.
He's lying, I tell you.
See if you can prove it to a jury.
I should have known.
In case you get any fancy ideas about trying to lie out of it, I got a witness to feel the motor of your plane. It's still hot.
That $10,000 offer still stands.
I need you to clear me.
Yeah. And I could use the sole ownership of this joint.
You wouldn't rat on me.
Oh, watch me, baby. I'll let you rot in jail.
Novak, I'll make it $25,000 if you help me quiet this dame.
You would, Ben? Start out by quieting this.
Yeah, they were lousy shots. They both lived. That is, Venanti lived until he got a bad case of asthma in the San Quentin gas chamber. Skip got off with a flock of scars and some good advice from the judge to stay away from questionable characters. But advice is free, and Skip was the kind who went after the dough, so I see her now and then. She's gone honest, I think. Sometimes we toss dice, and I've known her to lose.
Heard on tonight's program were Ben Morris as Novak, John Galbraith as Inspector Hellman, Jack Lewis as Jocko, and Mary Milford as Skip, with Henry Leff, Jerry Walters, Kurt Martell, and Lucille Bliss. Special music by Otto Clare. Listen next week at this same time when over most of these stations, the American Broadcasting Company presents Pat Novak for Hire. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Bunko Fugitive Detail. A secretary tells you her employer has suddenly left town. She says he's taken all the company records with him. Your job? Check it out.
It was Monday, May 18th. It was cloudy in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Bunko Fugitive Detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from lunch, and it was 1:46 p.m. when we got to room 38. Bunko Fugitive.
Sergeant Friday?
That's right.
They told me to see you.
Yes, ma'am. It's my partner, Frank Smith.
How do you do?
Good afternoon.
My name's Gibbons. Claire Gibbons.
Would you like to sit down there?
Thank you.
All right.
Well?
Yes, ma'am.
It isn't anything when you put your finger on it. At least, it isn't anything I'm sure of.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't even my idea. Coming to the police. Mama said my mother advised me to discuss this matter with you.
I see.
She's always claimed there was something funny about my job. She said this just goes to prove it. I'm sure she's mistaken. Sure Mr. Orlean wouldn't do anything wrong.
Mr. Orlean?
Oh, he's my boss, my employer, Henry Orlean.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, he's disappeared.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
And when did you see him last?
Friday. Friday evening when I left the office, 5 p.m.
Have you checked with his home?
I don't know where he lives. He never told me.
I see.
He's never gone out of town before. Not since I started working for him.
Well, how long has that been?
7 months. 7 months on the 3rd.
What kind of business is he in?
Uranium. Uranium stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple Uranium Investments Incorporated. That's the name of his company.
I see.
Well, don't the other employees have any idea where he went?
There aren't any other employees. I'm the only one.
Oh, I see.
Have you talked to missing persons?
No, I haven't. You see, Mama doesn't think he's missing. She says he skipped out, that he's a crook.
Does your mother know this, Mr. Orlean?
Only what I've told her about him. They've never met. She's been suspicious from the very beginning, though.
Afraid I don't follow you.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain.
How's that?
You see, the thing is, Mama just can't understand why he ever hired me. The employment office sent me to see him, along with 7 or 8 other secretaries. Mr. Orlean picked me out from all the rest.
Was there something strange in that?
Well, the truth is, I'm not much of a stenographer. Not a real good one, that is. I get kind of nervous whenever I have to take dictation, and my typing's just fair, too. I could do real clean copy if they'd just let me take my time, but they never do.
Is that right?
Except for Mr. Orlean. He doesn't rush me or get me all upset. It's the first time I've ever been able to hang on to a job. Pays awful good. $20 a week more than I ever earned before.
That's so.
Mom couldn't believe it when I told her. She said there was a catch to it someplace.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be different if I wasn't playing. 2 or 3 of the other girls who tried out for Mr. Orlean, they were very attractive, and they all had nice clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Mama sure was surprised when I told her he'd picked me. There's a catch to it somewhere. That's how she put it. He's up to something, and he wants a secretary who's not too bright.
Well, I'm afraid we're going to need more than that to start an investigation, Miss Gibbons.
Yes, sir. I see. Well, thank you very much.
Just a minute. Does he owe you any back wages?
Oh, no. I'm paid up a month in advance.
Mm-hmm.
That was another thing that seemed funny. I mean, when you think about it now, it seems funny.
Well, what do you mean?
My being with him less than a year and him wanting me to take a vacation with pay, a whole month off.
How'd that come about?
Well, it was just last week, Monday.
Mm-hmm.
A week ago today when he brought up the subject. He said it was getting on toward summer and I ought to start thinking about where I wanted to go on my vacation.
Yeah.
I told him I didn't feel entitled to a vacation yet. He just smiled and said it was up to him to decide that. That he's the boss, wasn't he? Then he insisted I tell him just where I wanted to go. I couldn't think of any place at all. He finally asked me why I didn't visit my sister in Hawaii.
I see.
She's married to a Navy officer stationed in Honolulu. I guess I must have mentioned her to Mr. Orlean. I guess that's how I knew about her.
Yes, ma'am, must be.
But the idea of ever paying her a visit hadn't even crossed my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to argue with him, but he pretended to get mad and told me if I was a good enough secretary to deserve a holiday, he's going to see that I got it. And he said he'd make up for it when I got back, that he'd really pour the work on.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he wasn't serious about pouring the work on, but it did seem like he really wanted me to go to Hawaii.
Well, why didn't you take him up on it?
Well, I meant to. I had my ticket. Round-trip flight. Mr. Orland paid for it, just like he said he would.
Yeah.
I was supposed to leave Saturday night. I sent Ann an airmail letter telling her all about the trip. That's my sister, Ann Burcott.
Yeah.
Well, Saturday morning, she wired me not to come. Her husband's being transferred in a week or two, but she wasn't sure where. Maybe back to the States.
I see.
Oh, I suppose I could have made the trip anyway, but it wouldn't be any fun going someplace where I didn't know anybody. I don't make friends very easy.
Is that so?
Well, I didn't know just what to do, whether Mr. Orland would still want me to take the month off or not. I went down to the office this morning to talk to him about it. He wasn't there. Everything was gone.
Yeah?
From the safe, all records and stock certificates, everything. And corporation papers he had framed up on the wall, they were gone, too.
Had somebody broken in?
I don't think so. The door to the suite was locked when I got there. I had my key.
And what about the safe?
I don't understand.
Well, was the safe open or closed?
Closed.
Well, how'd you happen to look inside?
I telephoned my mother and told her that Mr. Orland wasn't there, and she said I'd better check and see if anything was missing. Said it sounded to her like he'd skipped out.
Mm-hmm.
After I looked in the safe, she told me to get in touch with the police.
Well, now, just exactly what sort of business was this uranium company?
Mr. Orland invested in various uranium stocks.
For other people?
Yes, that's right.
Which bank did he use?
Western National. The account's in the main branch.
I'll give him a call, Jim.
Yeah, okay.
Well, there just wouldn't be any reason for him to run away, would there?
Well, it's pretty hard to tell yet.
I mean, he was doing a real good business.
Well, that might be a reason.
Oh?
Do you know the names of his customers?
Well, the people who invested, Mr. Orland?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I could remember some of them. The books are gone, though. I wouldn't be able to recall them all.
I see.
The old customers, the ones who've been with us for several months, I'd remember them.
Uh-huh. Was the business new when you started to work with it?
Yes, sir, brand new.
Find out anything?
Yeah. Orlean closed out the multiple uranium bank account last Friday evening, a little before 6.
6?
Yeah. Banks stay open late on Fridays.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. How much did he withdraw?
Just under 100,000.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
I guess Mama was right about him.
It's starting to look that way.
I should have known. From the beginning, I should have known.
What?
She's always right.
While Frank put in a call to Sacramento to check on the corporate status of multiple uranium investments, I asked Clara Gibbons to give me a detailed description of the suspect. 2:28 p.m., Sacramento reported that no such corporation had ever been authorized. We ran the name Henry Orlean through R&I. They had nothing on him. We turned the description and MO over to the stats office. They came up with 7 possible stock fraud artists. We pulled their mug shots and showed them to Miss Gibbons. She was unable to identify any of the pictures. 3:07 p.m., Miss Gibbons accompanied us to the Wendler building on Wilshire Boulevard in the Miracle Mile. We went up to Suite 4D.
Just a second till I find my key.
Yes, ma'am.
Here it is. This is the outer office where I work.
Mm-hmm.
That's his office in there?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's real fancy.
Have you talked to the building manager today?
No, sir.
Is he around, do you know?
Well, there isn't any manager. Not exactly. The owner has an office down the hall.
Oh.
I'll be glad to find out if he's in.
Thank you.
You'll be here?
Yes, ma'am. Well, very impressive quarters, huh?
Must have been a very impressive guy.
Yeah. Look at that, Joe. I wonder what he had up there.
Hmm?
Up on the wall. See that spot? Looks like there used to be a picture or something.
Well, those incorporation papers, maybe, huh?
Phonies?
I don't know. As far as the state of California is concerned, they're phonies.
Mm-hmm.
This is Mr. Wendler. Mr. Wendler is Sergeant Friday.
How are you?
I do.
And this is... I'm awfully sorry. I don't seem to remember your name.
It's all right. My name's Frank Smith. Well, pleased to meet you.
This is our identification, if you must say.
Forget it.
Uh-huh.
Well?
You're the owner of this building, are you?
Well, it's the Wendler building. I'm Ted Wendler.
Yes, sir?
Draw your own conclusions.
Yeah. Do you have any objections to answering a few questions, Wendler?
No.
All right. Will you answer them for us, please?
I thought I was.
Yes, sir. I asked you one before. Do you own this building?
Outright.
That isn't important.
Well, it's important to me. It's important to the mortgage company.
Is it in your name?
Yes, it's in my name.
All right, fine.
Now, what about the man who rented this suite?
Orlean? Yes, sir. Well, what about him?
Do you know he left town?
Well, she just told me.
Did you know about it before?
No.
What can you tell us about him?
He's a broker or something. Uranium stocks, I guess.
So we got that much.
That's all you know about him, huh?
Yeah.
How long has he rented from you?
Let's see, a little over 7 months. Be 8 on the 3rd.
Did he mention anything about where he had offices before?
No, he said he was from back east.
Any particular place?
No. Why, what's he done?
I'd like to talk to him, that's all.
Well, maybe he'll come back.
Uh-huh.
Well, if he doesn't, it's all the same to me.
What?
I made him pay his rent in advance whole first year.
Is that your usual practice?
No, only with fellas in the stock market. You see, I remember 1929.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen, not with fellas in the market.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I remember 29.
Yeah.
If Orlean stays away, I'm way ahead of him. Rent's paid up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nearly 5 months ahead of him.
Yes, sir. I wish we were. Ted Wendler confirmed Miss Gibbons' description of the suspect and insisted he could tell us nothing further about the man. While a crew from the crime lab went over the offices, we again questioned Clara Gibbons. She gave us the names and addresses of some of the people who had invested money with Orlean. 4:48 p.m., the crime lab reported that they'd been unable to discover any useful fingerprints in the suite. The only physical evidence they had uncovered was a copy of a prospectus which purported to list various securities owned by multiple uranium investments. It had fallen behind a filing cabinet. The next day, May 19th, Frank and I checked with several of the uranium companies listed on the prospectus. They all informed us that none of their stock had ever been purchased by Multiple Uranium Incorporated or Henry Orlean. 3:13 p.m., Frank and I drove out to interview one of the victims.
Would you like to sit down?
Thank you. Miss Custis, do you know a man named Henry Orlean?
Yes. Yes, I know him. Why?
Did you ever invest any money with him?
$5,000. Nothing's happened to Mr. Orlean.
We're not sure yet.
How'd you happen to give him the money?
Well, it was some insurance my husband left me.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd kept it in savings. Didn't bring in much interest. When I heard about Mr. Orlean's company...
Where'd you hear about it? You remember?
At the hospital.
Ma'am?
St. Agnes Children's Hospital.
Oh?
I spend a day a week there helping out in the charity ward.
I see.
I'm on some of the committees, too. You know, fundraising, things like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm not one of the big people behind the work, but somebody has to get out and dig for the little donations, too.
Yes, ma'am, they do.
And I have quite a bit of free time now.
Do you remember who it was that first mentioned Mr. Orlean to you?
I think it was Mrs. Lawrington.
Lawrington?
Yes, Mrs. Arthur Lawrington. You must have heard of her. She does so much charity work around town. She's very prominent socially.
Yes, ma'am. Just what did she say about Mr. Orlean's company?
Well, she wasn't talking to me exactly. One afternoon, when she was showing some people the plans for the new clinic, I guess she was asking them for some contributions. That's how it sounded. And one of the ladies said it all depended on how well her husband's stocks did during the next quarter.
Oh, I see.
And Mrs. Lawrington laughed and told her her husband ought to be in multiple uranium, but he wouldn't have anything to worry about.
Go on.
Well, that was all I heard. They went on to the next room. Afterwards, I got to thinking, if this uranium stock was good enough for Mrs. Lawrington, maybe I ought to check into it. You know, you're always hearing about people making fortunes in uranium.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I looked up the company in the phone book and talked to Mr. Orlean. At first, he wasn't very anxious for me to invest, but when I told him I knew Mrs. Lawrington, he said he'd take me in as a favor to her.
When was all this?
Oh, about 4 months ago.
Have you seen Mr. Orlean since?
No,
You heard from him?
not directly. I get a dividend check every month, though. Stock's paying very well. I figured it out. On a yearly basis, it'll come to over 30%. You can't do much better than that.
No, ma'am.
I told some of my friends about it, too, so they could get in on it.
Well, thank you very much, ma'am.
You still haven't explained what this is all about.
Well, we're trying to get in touch with Mr. Orlean, that's all.
Oh, the Wendler building on Wilshire Boulevard. That's where his office is, the Wendler building.
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't he there?
No, he isn't.
I don't understand.
Orlean seems to have disappeared.
What about my money?
I'm afraid that went with him.
Why, that isn't possible. He couldn't have. Mrs. Lawrington said it was a good stock.
Yes, ma'am. We'll talk to her about it.
Well, he paid me dividends every month. Good dividends.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't count on any more of them.
Why, I'll bring charges against him. I'll have him put in jail. He'll find out. But that's all you need, isn't it? Somebody to bring charges?
No, ma'am, not quite.
Well, what do you mean?
We need him. Frank and I left Mrs. Custis and drove out to interview another victim, Mrs. J.T. Pressing on Highland Avenue. She told us that she had invested $8,000 in multiple uranium. She also told us that she had first heard about the stock through a friend who was on the fundraising committee for St. Agnes Hospital. We interviewed 3 more victims. All of them were in some way associated with the hospital or were acquainted with Mrs. Arthur Lawrington. 8:45 p.m., we drove up to the Lawrington estate in Bel Air. A maid showed us into the library and said that Mrs. Lawrington would see us in a few minutes.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
That's her.
Hmm?
Up there on the wall, that painting. That's Mrs. Lawrence.
Yeah.
Saw it in the Sunday paper once. Society page. Real honest to gosh, artist did it.
You don't say.
Probably flatters her a lot.
Maybe.
Well, it's bound to.
What makes you think so?
Well, it stands to reason, Joe. If all a person wants is a good likeness, a photographer ought to do the trick.
Yeah.
Artists know that, too.
They do.
Figures they want something else. Want to look better, so he flatters them.
Oh, I see.
That's the way it works.
Are you gentlemen waiting for me?
Ms. Lawrington?
That's right.
We're police officers. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Well, I'm sure it's my husband you want to talk to. Unfortunately, he's in San Francisco on a business
No,
trip.
ma'am. We'd like to talk to you if you don't mind. You know a man named Henry Orlean?
Orlean?
That's it, yeah.
The name sounds familiar, but I meet so many people it's hard to be certain.
Have you ever heard of a stock called Multiple Uranium Incorporated?
Oh, yes, of course. Well, I didn't associate the two for a moment. That's Mr. Orlean's company, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any money invested in that stock?
No, not me personally, but I can vouch for the company if that's what you want to know. You see, I'm on the fundraising committee for St. Agnes Hospital. Matter of fact, I'm the chairman.
Yes, ma'am, we know.
And we do own some of Mr. Orlean's stock. The hospital, that is.
But tell us, how'd you happen to buy it?
Oh, we didn't. It was a donation.
Would you mind telling us from who?
Oh, no, not it. Mr. Orlean himself.
I see. When did he give it to you?
Last year, September. Yes, it was September. It's a charity bazaar. I don't recall the exact date, but I can find out for you.
Well, September's close enough. Just what was this bazaar?
A party here at my home. We opened the grounds to the general public. A garden party and auction combined.
An auction?
Some of the motion picture people donated the items we sold, and all the money went to the hospital. We raised over $25,000, not counting what Mr. Orlean gave us.
That's the stock donation.
That's right. He congratulated me on the bazaar. He seemed to be very interested in charity work. I said we would certainly use his help, and he offered to do whatever he could.
Go ahead.
He said that unfortunately he couldn't give us cash at the moment. He mumbled something about a tax problem. I'm not really too clear about those things. Everyone seems to be having tax problems nowadays. So instead of an outright gift, he offered us a block of stock in his company.
I see. Now, just how much stock was involved?
500 shares, I think. Yes, something like that. At any rate, he said the market value of what he was giving us would be in the neighborhood of $10,000.
Did he tell you anything else about it?
He didn't go into the details of his corporation, and I certainly didn't question him. You don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yes, ma'am.
All I recall, he said his company owned shares in other uranium companies so that the money was well diversified.
Now, was that all?
Yes, I believe so. Except that he made one request.
What was it?
He asked me not to sell the stock for at least a year.
Did he give you a reason?
Oh, yes. He said that within a year's time it would double in market value. And in the meantime, the hospital would be receiving excellent dividends.
I see.
As a matter of fact, the dividends have been remarkable. Something like $500 a month, I believe our treasurer told me. Mr. Orlean must be a very shrewd investor.
Did you ever discuss this uranium stock with any of your friends, Mrs. Lawrington?
Why, yes, once or twice. One of our committee meetings, when we were going over the books, we were surprised at the return it was paying us. We all talked about it then. I suppose I may have mentioned it since. Just in conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Mr. Orlean upset that I told other people about his company? I didn't know he wanted it kept secret.
No, he wanted you to tell him.
Well, then.
Several people that you discussed multiple uranium with invested in the company as a result.
It's a perfectly sound investment.
No, ma'am.
What?
Orlean has disappeared, and so has their money.
I'm sure you're mistaken.
The stock he sold him was phony. So was the stock he gave your hospital fund.
It couldn't be. Look at the dividends it paid.
It was just good advertising.
You mean he used the hospital? He used me?
I'm afraid so.
I just don't know what to say. I've never been involved in a situation like this before.
Yes, ma'am.
It's terribly distressing. I know it's not my fault, but I can't help thinking I should have been more careful, more discreet. Well, I'm sorry. I'm afraid you'll have to excuse me. I don't feel like talking anymore. I'm very upset.
We understand.
Anita will show you out.
We'll find a way. Let's go.
Oh. I was just looking at that painting up there again. No, I was right, Joe. Flatters her.
The interview with Mrs. Lawrington had enabled us to establish the suspect's M.O. Additional bulletins were sent out alerting all police departments, charity organizations, and fundraising committees.
During the rest of the week, we interviewed other victims of the stock swindle. None of them could furnish any additional information about the whereabouts of the man who called himself Henry Orlean. 3 weeks later, on June 9th, we received a report from the Chicago Police Department. They informed us that a man answering Orlean's description had worked an oil stock swindle in that city during the previous year. He had then used the name of Roger Norgett. They also told us that this Norgett was suspected of an earlier stock swindle in Kansas City. Neither the Chicago nor Kansas City police had a positive identification of the suspect, but in both cities, the M.O. had been the same. The suspect had donated a block of phony stock to a charitable organization, had paid very high dividends on the donated shares, and then had been able to acquire investments from private persons. Wednesday, June 11th, 3:17 p.m. Frank and I were in the office.
Sergeant Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
You remember me? Clara Gibbons. I used to work for
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Orlean.
How are you? What can we do for you?
Mama just found him.
Hmm?
Mama just found him. Mr. Orlean.
Where?
Over on Hill Street. She was just walking along and she saw him.
Is she sure it's him?
Positive. Please hurry.
Just a minute, Miss Gibbons.
Yeah, what is it?
Didn't you tell us your mother had never seen this man?
Well, she's seen him now. He was walking down Hill
Well, how does
Street.
she know it's him if she never saw him before?
I told her what he looked like dozens of times, all about him.
I see.
For heaven's sake, you don't have to see a person to know what he looks like. Mama would recognize Mr. Orlean anywhere. She's said so half a dozen times. She can describe him better than I can.
Oh.
My mother's very intelligent, Sergeant. She's not like me. Now, please don't stand here and argue about it or he'll get away.
Well, just where is he?
The Norridge Hotel, corner of Hill and Halldale.
I thought your mother saw him on the street.
Well, she followed him into the hotel. She didn't want to lose him. He went upstairs and she telephoned me from the lobby. She said she'd wait there to make sure he didn't leave.
Oh, I see.
She told me to bring you as soon as I could. It's nearly half an hour since she called me. We haven't got much
All right,
time.
Miss Gibbons. All right, we'll check on it right away.
You're going to arrest him, aren't you?
If it's the right man.
Well, of course it's the right man.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me a minute.
Do you have to answer it now?
Uncle Fugitive Friday. Yeah, that's right. I see. Fine. Okay. We'll forward our warrant to you. Will you send us a notification by telegram? Thank you. We sure are. Many thanks. Salt Lake City Police Department.
Yeah?
Picked up Orlean this morning. Tabbed him from our circular.
Are you sure it's him?
Gave him a full confession. Admitted the KC and Chicago deals, too.
But it couldn't be Mr. Orlean. He's at the Norridge Hotel.
Well, Miss Gibbons, I'm afraid your mother was mistaken.
I've never known Mama to make a mistake.
No, we all make them.
Well, she's waiting for us at the hotel. What'll I tell her?
Well, let's see. I guess there's only one thing.
What's that?
Tell her not to wait.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On August 16th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Francis Caxton Wheatley, alias Henry Orlean, alias Roger Norgett, was tried and convicted of grand theft, 7 counts, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Grand theft is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for no more than 1 year, or in the state prison for not less than 1 or more than 10 years. Holds were placed on the suspect by the states of Illinois and Missouri at the termination of his sentence in San Quentin.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. After weeks of investigation, a suspect in a burglary is picked up. You've got the evidence for a conviction, but over $200,000 in loot is still missing. Your job? Find it.
It was Saturday, March 5th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We're on our way back from the cell block, and it was 9:45 a.m. when we got to the interview room. Felony section.
I'll get the light.
Morning, Bowen. Sit down.
Over there.
You want to smoke? Here's a light. You want to talk to us this morning? You're not doing yourself any good this way, Bowen.
We checked your apartment, Bowen. Found a set of tools our crime lab says are the ones used in the Hendricks job.
We can put you in the front room of the house. You're dead, Bowen. Why don't you admit it? This is the first time you've been nailed for anything big. You go along with us, and the judge might take it into consideration. If we have to write it up this way, he's liable to throw the book in your face.
Who was with you on the job, Bowen?
We know you didn't swing it alone. Somebody had to carry the light.
Come on, who was it?
All right, what about the loot? Where's that?
That stuff's not going to do you any good in the joint.
There's over $200,000 in furs and jewelry missing. We know you had it. Now, where is it?
How about it, Bowen? You're just causing yourself a lot of grief.
Okay, let's go. On your feet. Come on.
Too bad, Cop.
Is that so?
Sure. There's nothing you can do to make me tell where the stuff is. Not a thing.
Sure.
You're never going to find out where it is. Never.
Well, it really doesn't make a lot of difference.
Hmm?
You're never going to use it. 3 weeks previously, on February 10th, two unidentified persons had entered a home in the Bel Air district. They'd taken furs and jewelry valued at over $200,000. The investigation conducted by burglary detail had netted one of the suspects. He was identified as Cade Bowen, WMA, 32 years. His arrest record had listed several charges of drunk driving and disturbing the peace. However, he'd never been picked up on a felony before. In spite of our efforts, we'd been unable to break him down. He refused to identify the other suspect or to tell us where we could recover the stolen goods. All of his friends and relatives were questioned. None of them could aid us. The case on him was prepared for the district attorney's office, and we continued to look for the other suspect. Monday, March 7th, 8:02 a.m., I checked into the squad room.
That you, Joe?
Yeah.
Now, you're late.
A couple of minutes, yeah. I got it. Burglary Friday. Oh, yeah, Emery. Mm-hmm. Sure. No, not a sign of it. Well, we'd like to hear it anyway. Where can we meet you? Where? Yeah, all right. We'll be right over. About 5 minutes. Right. Goodbye. It was Emery.
Who?
Emery Docks. Says he wants to see us.
What about?
Some stolen fur coats. Frank and I left the office and drove over to see the informant. We found him in Pershing Square watching a checker game.
Just a minute, Joe. Be with you.
All right.
No, not that one. He always does it. Okay, let's go. Always the same with that guy.
Is that right?
Yeah, always the same. Set him up that way and he'll jump. As soon as he does, game is over. He can't see it, but it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Real pigeon for the setup. You can sit over there and talk.
You know my partner, don't you, Emery?
Yeah, sure. Hi.
How you doing?
Not too bad. Guess you can't win them all.
Yeah.
We can sit there.
What do you want to see us about?
Oh, fell over something day before yesterday. Thought maybe it'd make sense for you.
Mm-hmm.
Met a guy who had some coats for sale. Price he was quoting had to be hot.
Where'd you meet him?
Bar over on First.
See a friend?
Not to make a touch. I see him in the bar once in a while, but he don't ever buy a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Other night he got real palsy-walsy. I don't know, maybe he was gassed or something. But he sure was friendly.
You met him in the bar?
Yeah, he stopped in to have a belt before I ate. This guy was there, sitting on the stool next to me. Got to talking. He almost knocked me over when he bought a drink. Right on the floor, he knocked me.
Mm-hmm.
One thing led to something else. He asked what I was doing. I said, oh, just about anything to turn a buck. He asked me if I had any money I wasn't using. I said I didn't.
Yeah.
He said it was too bad. He said if I could raise a couple of long bills, he could turn me on to something good.
The coats?
Yeah. Told me how a friend of his came up with these fur coats, wanted to dump them, said the price was real good.
What kind of coats were they?
Mink, full length. Got a couple of those scarf things, too. He said they were Stone Martin or something, where the skins look like they're biting each other.
Yeah.
Like those, Stone Martin, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Guy made a big thing about how the price was right, and if I had any loot, I could come out with a big thing.
Did he say where his friend got him?
No. Matter of fact, I don't think there was a friend. Coats were in his car. I know if I had that kind of merchandise, I wouldn't put it in nobody else's pocket, that's for sure.
What's this fellow's name, do you know?
Jarvis Dean.
That's D-E-A-N?
I guess so.
What do you know about him?
Well, not much. I told you I see him around. He's an angle fella, always looking for a touch.
You hold any kind of a job?
Not so it would stand out.
How's he live?
Oh, off other people mostly. Once in a while he makes a big score and he's popping for drinks all over the place. A couple of days he's blown the wad and he's back on the dole.
You know where you can find him?
I can't give you no address.
Usually around the bar?
Mostly. You won't find him there for a couple of days now, though. You said something about going out of town, down to Palm Springs. Something about how he could make the contact down there and unload the coats.
This Jarvis Dean ever been arrested?
Well, I don't know. We didn't spend a lot of time talking about jails. Figures, though.
What do you mean?
The way he talks, some of the people I've seen him with, 6 to an even, they can draw your floor plan of the laundry up at you.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us the name of the people?
Well, if it's all the same to you, I'd rather not. They ain't done nothing to me, and I'd like to keep it that way. Some of them are pretty mean.
Yeah.
You understand, it isn't that I'm afraid, but I don't see no reason to stir nothing up.
Mm-hmm. Does Dean say where this contact was at Palm Springs?
Oh, he mentioned some bar called Spanky's, that's all.
In the town itself?
Yeah, I guess so. When I couldn't spring the money to go with him, he kind of cooled off. He stopped being real friendly. I got to thinking about it and figured maybe it'd mean something to you, so... Well, the guy goes around with a couple of grand of furs in his car. He didn't win him in a raffle. Got to be something there. Do you any good?
Yeah, we'll check it.
When I first heard about it, I thought it'd do some good right away. I thought of you guys right away.
Yeah.
I always like to try and help when I can.
Mm-hmm.
Now it works out both ways. Maybe you can give me a hand sometime. You know, like now?
What?
I could sure use a couple of bucks. Things ain't been going too good.
No, that's too bad.
It's just temporary. It won't last. A couple of days, I got a job coming up. Hotel over on Wilshire. Pearl diving. Guy's been drafted, and I'm in line for the job in just a couple of days.
Well, I've only got a couple of bucks, Emery. You can have them if it'll help.
Sure, Joe. Anything at all.
There you are.
Thank you. Hey, you got a pencil?
For what?
Pencil. Got one I can use?
Yeah, here.
I always like to keep these things legal. You never know.
Good.
There you are. My IOU. Pay you back as soon as I start to work.
Well, don't worry about it, Emery.
No. You gotta do these things up legal.
Can you tell us what this guy Dean looks like?
Yeah, you think there's really something to it, huh?
Oh, we can check it.
Well, sure figures he stole the coats, and then he reasoned he'd want to give them away if he didn't. Guy like that, he don't do nothing for nothing. Gotta be a payoff some ways.
Well, then he won't be disappointed.
Huh?
There'll be one. Frank and I got the description of Jarvis Dean and the car he was driving, then we returned to the office. We had the name run through R&I, and we found a record. The mugshot was pulled and shown to Emery Docks. He said it was the man who tried to sell him the coats. We put out a local broadcast and an APB on the suspect and his car. 11:25 a.m. Cade Bowen was questioned again, but he refused to give us any information on whether or not Dean was his accomplice in the burglary. At 2:30 that afternoon, Frank and I met with Captain Bernard in his office.
You think it's the Hendricks loot?
Should be. We've checked around. There haven't been any other thefts that are covered.
Got the list?
Yeah, here.
Thanks.
Now, you can see right there, Skipper. 2 mink coats, 1 stole, Stone Martin scarf.
What about the jewelry?
Well, he didn't say anything about it. Doesn't mean it's not there.
What about this bar in Palm Springs you mentioned?
Spanky's?
Yeah. You know anything about it?
We know where it is.
What kind of place is it?
Resort Town Bar.
What about the reputation?
Clean. We never had any reports about it.
You think that's where they'll turn the stuff?
Well, we don't know. All we got's the name.
Someplace to look. More than we've had.
You can't get anything out of Bowen?
He won't even admit he's in Los Angeles.
What's he got to say about the evidence?
Just sits and looks at it.
And Palm Springs is the only lead you got?
That's it.
Okay, trot it down. Can you leave right away?
I can. How about you, Smith?
Just call Faye.
That's it, then. Go on down there, see what you can find out. Be sure to check with their department. They might have something for you.
All right.
When'll you be back?
Well, if it works out, should be sometime in the morning.
Check with me as soon as you get in.
Yeah.
This fellow Dean got a record?
Yeah, assault 211.
Sounds like he might be heavy.
Possible.
Well, take it easy.
Yeah.
He's the fellow you're after. He's not going to want to give that stuff up.
Well, that puts it on our backs. We've got to convince him. Frank and I went down to the carpool and checked out a trip car. 2 hours later, we pulled into Palm Springs. We talked with the local authorities. They had nothing on Jarvis Dean. As far as they knew, there was nothing wrong with Spanky's bar. We got the address of the place and drove over. Yeah, what'll it be? Police officers would like to ask you a few questions.
Oh, L.A. cops, huh? Something wrong?
I would like to ask you some questions.
Sure. Come on back here. It'll be easier to talk.
All right.
Well, what can I do for you?
I'd like you to take a look at these pictures. Tell us if you know this man.
No, I never saw him.
How about this one?
Sure. Yeah, he's been around.
Is he here now?
No, he doesn't usually make it this early.
You seen him at all today?
He was in this morning around 10 in there.
You know where we can find him?
What's he done?
Police business.
Well, just so it doesn't get anybody here in trouble. That guy's a real crackpot.
What do you mean?
He's lonely. He's good business, but if I had my druthers, I'd just assume he stayed away.
Why is that?
Well, the way he acts. We got a lot of big people coming here. You know, the picture crowd, a lot of money. They like things quiet. They come down here for a rest, and that's what they want. A guy like that fella, they don't help.
Is that right?
Sure, he gets gassed, makes a big noise all about how he's buying drinks for the house. The customers don't like that kind of stuff. The drinks aren't bad enough, but he's got to start a pitch.
What do you mean?
I've been trying to set something up, some kind of a deal.
You know what it is?
No, I don't pay a lot of attention. I just hear him talking to some of the people. Gets any worse, though, I'm going to have to 86 him.
Does he come in alone?
Sometimes.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a chick he brings in once in a while. The two of them just sit there and drink.
You know her?
Why, she in trouble?
Do you know her?
Yeah, her name is Blanche. She lives down here.
She around?
Well, she was.
When?
About half an hour ago. Said she was going out, get something to eat. She'd be back.
You know where she went?
No, half a dozen places inside a block she could have gone. If you want to talk to her, the best thing would be to wait right here.
All right.
She was carrying a real load when she walked out. I hope that food helps her.
She said she lives down here.
Yeah, she's got a place out the south end of town.
What's she do for a living, you know?
Well, I don't know. I don't think she's got a job. Seems I heard her say she was divorced. Probably got a chunk of dough from her old man.
She and this fellow pretty friendly?
You mean the guy in this picture?
Yeah.
I guess you could say that. Most of the time they're together.
How often is he here?
Oh, he comes in the place almost every night, you know, when he's in town.
Is that quite a bit?
Yeah, 3-4 days a week.
You ever hear what he did for a living?
No, I don't think he works steady. Hey, there's your girl now.
All right. Want me drink, huh?
Yeah, Blanche, a couple of fellas here want to talk to you, huh?
Oh, that's all? Oh, bring them on. I always like to talk to fellas. If they're friends of yours, old Bart, I know they're okay.
Yeah, sure, Blanche.
Are these them? Hey, now, they're pretty nice looking. You know that, fellas? You're pretty nice looking.
Wonder if we get to a booth, might be a little easier to talk to you.
Oh, same to you. I'll talk right here. I won't say a thing. What's your name, honey?
Friday.
Say, that's a funny name. Like today, huh?
That's right. It's my partner, Frank Smith.
I do.
Oh, come on now. Don't try to pitch that at me. Smith. A phony if I ever heard one. Hey, Bart.
Yeah, Blanche.
How's that drink? I stay all night, you know.
Do you think you had enough of that?
No. You just keep your big yap shut.
You better take it easy, Blanche.
Take it easy, nothing. Ain't no fellow with a name like Friday and Smith gonna tell me and not to have a drink. They're a couple of phonies. That's what they are.
All right,
Phonies.
just settle down now. We're police officers.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Well, I'm the Queen of Sheba. What do you think of that? What do you think of that, Mr. Phony?
Come on, Blanche. You better quiet down.
Don't yell at me, you bartender. Got any class at all, you keep these mashers out of here. A fine, lousy bar you're running.
Let's go outside, lady.
You just try and take me out there. You come another step, I'll knock your head off.
Blanche, please, honey, take it easy.
All right, miss, you said enough. Now let's go outside.
Oh, sure. You got a big picture of that, me going out there, and you two can gang up on me. No, that's N-O. I ain't going no place with you.
You got it wrong.
I have I? Well, I'll just show you. Help! Police! Police! Somebody help!
We are the police.
You want another call? Help! Police!
Sit down.
All right. I know when I'm late. You don't have to shove me around anymore. Just leave me alone, that's all. Just leave me alone.
You got some hot coffee?
Yeah, sure, I'll get it.
Bring it back to this booth. Will you? Come on, everything's going to be all right, lady.
No, it isn't. Not ever again. Not ever.
All right, sit down here. There's a handkerchief.
Thanks. I never done anything like that before.
That's all right.
I guess I'm arrested.
Not yet.
I didn't mean anything by it. Nothing. Just I didn't know you guys, and then I was a little drunk. Just all of a sudden I wanted to hit something. That's all. Just hit something. You were handy.
Here's your coffee.
Thanks.
You want cream or sugar?
No, but...
Anything I can do for you?
No, that's all.
I'll be up front if there's.
All right.
Go ahead, miss. Try the coffee. Might make you feel better.
Oh, it's hot. I'm too sorry about hitting you.
That's all right.
Really? It's nice of you to say so. What were you going to ask me when all this started?
You want to take a look at this picture here and tell us if you know the man?
Sure. I guess I owe you that. Is the guy?
Yeah, that one there.
Sure, it's Jarvis.
Last name Dean?
Yeah.
What do you know about him?
Guy. Had a couple of drinks with him.
You know where he is?
Not now. Saw him this morning. Had a cup of coffee. Haven't seen him since then.
He's still in town?
I don't think so.
You know where he is?
No. Tell you run up to L.A. on some business.
Did he say what kind of business?
No. We didn't talk much about that.
You got any idea where Dean was going in L.A.?
He didn't give me an address.
Did he say when he'd be back?
That's what we had the beef about. He just shoved off. Said something about meeting the guy up there. Said this fellow's in some kind of trouble and that he had to try and square it.
Did he say who it was?
Let's see. I'm not sure I can remember.
It's pretty important.
Now, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. It was Bowen. Yeah, I had to see a guy named Bowen.
Did he say what it was about?
No. Not that I can remember. He just told me that he and this Bowen guy were on a deal together. Bowen had lost it up. Said he had to take care of him.
The description of Dean's car that the girl gave us matched the one we'd gotten from our informant. We checked the room he'd occupied in Palm Springs. We talked to the local authorities. They agreed to check further on the suspect. Frank and I left for Los Angeles. The following morning, we contacted Captain Bernard.
It all goes together.
Huh?
You better find him fast.
Why? Something wrong?
I don't know, but it could happen.
What do you mean?
Bowen was released on a writ last night.
Additional bulletins were gotten out on both men. Bowen's house was put under surveillance, and all of his known hangouts were watched. 2 days passed without word. And then on Thursday, March 10th at 10:57 a.m., Frank and I got back to the office from checking out a lead.
Ready?
Yeah.
Note in the book for you. Important.
Thank you.
What is it?
Supposed to call the sheriff's department.
Wonder what it is.
I don't know yet. We'll find out.
Well, I didn't figure you would, Joe, not until you made the call. Just wondered what it was.
Dave Terry, please. Well, Dave? Joe Friday. No, we haven't. Where? Any idea when that happened? No, we better come over and see you. Right. Bye. We're in trouble.
What do you mean?
I don't know. They found a body out in the desert this morning. Looks like it was a hit and run.
Bowen?
No, Jarvis Dean. Frank and I left the office and went over to the Hall of Justice where we met with Sergeant Dave Terry. He showed us the photographs taken at the scene and the reports filed by the officers who discovered the body. From the appearance, it had been struck by a car traveling at high speed. A thorough search had been made of the area, but no trace of Jarvis Dean's car could be found. There was no apparent explanation as to how he'd gotten out in the desert. Another local and an APB was gotten out asking that Cade Bowen be picked up for questioning on suspicion of murder. A week went by. There was no word of the suspect. Border stations had been alerted in the event he tried to escape into Mexico. Checkpoints at the California-Nevada border had descriptions of both the car and the suspect. Saturday, March 19th, Frank and I got back from the stats office.
Well, it's another dead end.
Yeah.
Where to now?
Well, we can check with the skipper, see if he's got any ideas.
All right. Come on in. Where are
you been? Been looking for you.
Stats office. They just finished a run. They didn't come up with anything.
You don't need it.
Huh?
You got half the country looking for Bowen, and he's in your pocket.
What do you mean?
Me in jail. Picked up last night in 502.
Kate Bowen had been picked up the night before at the corner of 7th and Hill Streets. He'd been observed by a radio car driving in an erratic manner and had refused to stop when the officers directed him to. After a 10-block chase, he'd been halted, but when the officers asked to see his identification, he told them he didn't have any. He was taken to the main jail and booked on charges of drunk driving. A check of his fingerprints had revealed his name, and we were notified. His car had been impounded, and the crime lab was going over it. We had the suspect brought to the city hall.
What is it this time? I held up the Federal Reserve?
All right, come off it, Bowen. You know where you're sitting now. This is the last time around for you.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
You won't hear it again.
Where you been for the last week?
Sleeping.
No, I know. Where?
Any place I could find a soft mattress? Hey, you guys ought to pull some strings and get some new bedding over the main jail. Those bunks are hard.
Sure. You know a man named Jarvis Dean? Jarvis Dean, do you know him?
Might.
That's no answer.
That's the best I can do.
Look, mister, we're getting tired of playing with you. You're in trouble, and it doesn't come in any bigger sizes. Now, I'm not going to tell you to play it smart because you wouldn't know what I was talking about, but you snapped to and answered these questions. Now do you know Jarvis Dean?
I met him.
When'd you see him last?
A couple of weeks ago.
We understand he was with you on the burglary.
It's a fairy tale.
We got it straight.
I didn't know you listened to gossip.
Where'd you get the car you were driving last night?
I bought it.
From who?
Used car dealer.
Well, then you tell us why it's registered to Jarvis Dean, will you?
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Last time we talked to you, it was for a burglary beef. It's a lot more serious this time.
That's so.
That's right. Suspicion of murder.
Who'd I kill?
Jarvis Dean.
You're out of your head.
We always are. Now tell us why he let you drive his car.
I don't know if it is his car.
Department of Motor Vehicles says it is.
We checked it. All of the stolen merchandise was found.
Now, you got no right to go through my things.
Last time we heard of the stuff, Jarvis Dean had it.
What's the matter? Did you have a fight about what to do with it?
Maybe you got sore because he was letting you carry the beef yourself. That what happened?
Come on, Bowen. You're boxed in.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, let's check the office, see if there's any word from the crime lab.
I'll do it.
Tell you what, cop.
Hmm?
You win, I'll tell you.
About Dean?
I don't know anything about him. I'm talking about the burglary.
Yeah.
I did it. You don't have to go any further.
No deal. We got you on something bigger. I think we can make that hold up.
Look, I'm willing to cop out to the others.
How'd you do?
Well, here's the report.
Well, that wraps it up.
Yeah?
All right, Bowen, let's go.
Huh?
We don't have to talk to you anymore. The crime lab just finished going over the car.
Yeah?
They found where you had that fender repaired.
Well, some drunk ran into me.
They checked the springs underneath, found traces of fabric, matched the jacket Dean had on when he was killed.
We got enough to make you on it.
You can't prove I was driving the car, and there's no way you can prove it.
We think we can.
Go ahead. You just take it into court. Try. By the time you get through, the judge and the jury will be laughing.
All right?
Sure, they'll tell you how far out you are. They'll laugh right in your face.
They'll tell you something, too.
Yeah?
And they won't be laughing.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 16th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Cade Neil Bowen was tried and convicted of murder in the first degree and received sentence as prescribed by law. On recommendation of the jury, he was sentenced to life imprisonment in the state penitentiary, San Quentin.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.